This has been the SEN. Welcome to the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day.
He has a bounce, he crosses 50, he pins the ears back, and he drills the goal! You can tweet that and hashtag it bloody good.
It goes high up and under the full foot. Becky's taking a ripper!
Makes a name for himself with these long bombs from outside the arc. It's a long bomb from outside the arc!
Hello and welcome to Toorak Park for Saturday afternoon amateur footy. Round 8 of William Buck Premier Men's action coming to you from Melbourne South East before the King's birthday weekend off. The Old Xaverians, they've won 4 of their last 5 games. They're second on the ladder. It's their best start to a season since 2021. Conversely, for Collegians, it's their worst start to a year since 2021, but with 3 losses coming by 7 points or fewer so far this year, there are some good signs for those in the purple and gold today. It's the Old Xaverians hosting Collegians for the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day, live every Saturday afternoon on vafa.com.au and the SEN app. My name is Paddy Grindlay. It's great to see, once again, the 2-time Premiership coach and 3-time Coach of the Year, Hugo Higginbotham, in the special comments chair. Hello, Hugo. Palatial is correct, by the way. The renovations done down here at Toorak Park are magnificent. We are in a sprawling commentary box just above the wing on the Orring Road side of Toorak Park. 2:30 start, I think especially requested by us, so we could have the extra 15 minutes to discuss some amateur football. It's very good, and I think that we are assisted by the bye being next week, so both these teams can pour everything into this contest, knowing that they will get the week off after that. We'll break it all down as part of the Saturday warm-up, all thanks to Mequicare, providing care for more than 16,500 people each week across Greater Melbourne and regional Victoria since 1959. Now, as part of our extended half-hour pre-game show, we've got Old Xaverians co-skipper Campbell Lane, we've got Collegians coach Geordie McKenzie, and Old Xaverians coach Dan Donati, Harrison McIlwaine doing the work for us on the boundary today. As we start to sink our teeth into this one, Hugo, let's take a look first at the Autosport Victoria ladder. As you've just spoken about, Collegians in a spot of bother now. They're in the sort of bottom part in that relegation drop zone with D-Lar. It's pretty crucial that they get their year started. Where do you want to start as far as the ladder is concerned? Yeah. Yeah. No.
Couple of games then a break. If I was coaching there, I'd be doing a little bit of a pre-season with the boys and just trying to do a lot of fitness work in the break. No impacts or anything like that. Try and get them going again. Then we go up the ladder a little bit, and we've got Blacks and Scotch, the surging Scotch. But Blacks, they're an unknown, aren't they? I know that a few positional things have changed. The swingman's gone forward.
Campbell.
They pulled that one early. So the next couple of games are really, really interesting for that. But Scotch, which Scotch is going to turn up, or what's happening. They do get some talent back. There's VFL buys in the next few weeks. Will that have any effect? And then the Pignataro effect, just above that. But I think they've done really well to be sitting, what are we, 5th, 6th? 5th.
St Bernard's?
Yeah, St Bernard's, sorry. Yes, we're talking about St Bernard's. have they overachieved? They're in the middle of the ladder. They're still in touch of finals, and that's got to be their goal. But last week was a big loss for them, and today, let's see how they bounce back. And then we get up to the top four. St Kevin's sitting fourth. They would not be happy about losing that game to Haileybury last week. I mean, Haileybury, they've been a surprise package.
Yeah.
How good have they been? No one would have thought they'd come up, and they're sitting third on the ladder. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Actually, equal second. Just looking at that.
Just percentage.
Percentage is an interesting one there. So we've got Xavs sitting second, and we've seen a lot of them. Their fitness is obviously a massive key for them. Oh, and a couple of good players getting around out there. Two of the best midfielders, superstar wingman, and, a guy who can take, apparently, mark of the year, that the footage is still in review.
We'll be hearing more about that in the next 15 minutes, I think.
And then we get up to the top of the ladder. Brighton. How good are Brighton? We don't know. They're playing really good footy. Are they peaking early? What's happening there? But their system's really good. They bat very deep. Their reserves are very strong as well, so that gives us a good indication there. But at the home ground here, Xavs, what can they do? They need this one today. They want to get that top two.
Hugo, good of you to speak of Old Xavs to finish, because we're now joined by a very special guest in the commentary box at Toorak Park. He kicked the ceiling goal last week for the Xavs at the Uni Oval. He's had the second most disposals of anyone in the amateurs so far this year, having returned full-time from the VFL to the Red and Black. It's the co-skipper of the Old Xavs, Campbell Lane. Campbell, welcome to the SEN Match of the Day.
Thanks, Paddy. Hugo, how you going, boys?
Going very well, not as well as your team is going. Take me through this start to the season. It's your best one since 2021.
It's been good. I think what's really stood out for us is just the maturity, and it's been a couple of, we've been challenged at times during games, and we've been able to stand up and, half-time at Haileybury we were down by 5 goals and similar on the weekend. So we've been able to win in different ways, have gears, which has been a real positive for us.
So, Campbell, obviously coming back full-time, you feel you have more of a leadership role around the younger guys because you are here 24/7 in essence. You're not going, coming, going. A bit more consistency.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, actually. I think when I was floating in and out, you sort of was just trying to come in, play your role where you could. And now really having that time, particularly in the pre-season, I felt was real benefit, being able to, really lift standards where I could, and we'd always do Saturday sessions, extra running and that type of thing, and then leading the boys with how we play and structures has been really good as well.
Yeah, look, fitness is definitely noticeable. You're finishing your games off really well, the scores are there. I was talking to Nutsy, and he said that was more player-driven the Saturdays. You guys wanted it. Did you have any involvement with that, pushing the boys along?
Yeah, no, it was good. We made sure the boys got to Gosh's Paddock, which is right next to my house, which was nice. But we made sure right from December we were doing extra sessions on the Saturday morning, and then not just doing the skills, also finishing with running, and we did a lot of back and forth 150s, which might have been my idea at the end.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And you can really tell this year you've only lost the one final term out of your 7 so far. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your time at Collingwood VFL. You linked up with Dale Tapping back in 2016, who sadly passed away at the start of this year. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Dale.
Yeah, he was really important for my initial stint at Collingwood. So I was playing tack up and then got the opportunity to play 5 or 6 games in that year with Collingwood, and that's a bit of a daunting experience as well. And he just welcomed me with open arms and taught me the game really well. Even in that short amount of time, I wouldn't have been surprised if he coached at AFL level. He was that good of a coach. So it was obviously really sad news, and he was a really respected person at Collingwood particularly.
And you played 92 games for the Maggies at VFL level. You're not there this year. You're here full-time. What are some lessons that you've learnt from the VFL program that you've brought into the Old Xavs, aside from doing your repeat sprints?
Yeah, I think I had a great opportunity to be involved at Collingwood, particularly the last couple of years when they were absolutely flying, and just the importance of system and role at Collingwood. You can just tell how well they're playing now, because everyone knows whoever's playing the importance of what role they play, as well as, just keeping present. You can tell the reason they win all those close games is the work they do in staying present and being connected and trying to bring that as much as they can to the club.
So, Campbell, last week, fantastic win. We had the pleasure of being there and called it. Got to call that final goal of yours, which turned out to be the difference. But, mate, that was probably a bit of a quieter day for you. I think we only had 31. We're used to seeing you up around 40. They did a pretty good job on running with you.
Yeah.
Let's talk us through, because I know I reckon your work rate lifted just to get away from that a little bit, and you came into a lot more later in the game.
Yeah, I think I started the year quite well, and then I think I copped a tag for about 3 weeks straight, and then so it's me dealing with that attention a little bit more. On the wing, it's a bit more isolating, so you've just got to put your head down and just run as hard as you can. I think for me, I know that eventually I'll wear them down, hopefully, and that's what I just keep telling myself, and it just helps when you got two of the best inside mids in the comp, who can go to work, and then eventually in the last quarter I can break them down, hopefully.
It's our first trip to Toorak Park for the SEN Match of the day this season. It seems like it's a wider and fatter ground than some of the Ammos. What do you like to do out here? Do you play it any differently than perhaps you would? Maybe the Uni Oval isn't the best example, but some of the smaller grounds in the Ammos?
Well, since they redid it, they brought it in a little bit. Yeah,
really?
So to be honest, it's my favourite ground, the VAFA. I think it's a great size. The atmosphere is great. It's not too big, not too small. I think last week was a bit too big at times.
Yep.
This is a great size. They brought it in, so people were complaining a little bit last year. But I think for us, the important part of it is not get caught out in the wings, because it is a bit shorter. So just go long and direct where we can. If we get it in the corridor, we want to stay in the corridor as much as we can.
And this match-up today, so Collegians, they're 9th in the ladder, 2 and 5, but it doesn't really tell the story of their year. They've had a lot of close losses. Where do you see them competing with you today? Where are you going to be focused on?
Yeah, I think Blues were similar last week. They were 8th, and they probably outplayed us for fair portions of the day. So we're not coming in with any preconceived ideas. We know they're going to be a really tough team to beat, really proud footy club. They're really good in the contest, so we got touched up a little bit there last week. So we need to be a bit better there this week, and I think that's where it'll be won or lost.
Now, mate, there's a couple of things have happened in history that footage hasn't been missed, but it has been found. JFK, they found a video of that. We're still searching, but we cannot find any good footage of that mark last week. Charlie's. Has there been much talk around the club about that? Because we said it was a contender, but there's a lot of...
Contender, I heard. It was for contender for mark of the day.
It's a long season. He's got a chance to play a couple more. But now, you're all leading. How flat was he that the footage was no good?
Well, he's disappointed. He's very disappointed. Because particularly the five... Have you seen the photo?
Oh, don't worry, we saw the photo.
Yeah, we've seen the photo. So I think that we did fines on Thursday night, and I think Tommy McRae was in the way, so he got a big fine for that as well. So
at least he got on the photo.
Yeah, no, he was disappointed, but it was an unbelievable mark.
Where were you when he took that?
Probably the far wing, to be honest.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been on the close wing, that's for sure.
Campbell, we'll let you get stuck into your warm-up, but thank you so much for making some time for us, and best of luck today and for the rest of the season.
Thanks, boys. I appreciate it. All the best.
This is the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day, live every Saturday afternoon on vafa.com.au and the SEN app. Campbell Lane, the co-skipper of the Old Xaverians, good enough to join us for the Saturday warm-up, all thanks to Mequicare. Hugo, any little nuggets that you want to take further from Campbell?
Geez, he speaks well, doesn't he? Such a good young lad. You can see why he's such a good leader around the place. But he keeps going back to work rate and things like that. And this is what this side does. Let's look at Xavs. Their first halves have been pretty poor, to be quite honest, but their second halves have been elite. So they are very fit. Speaking to Dan Donati, their coach, he's been really impressed with the kids like Charlie Knott and Dunn who have come up. They've been the quiet achievers who are going to be playing in the bottom six type thing. Well, they've got themselves up into the middle of the squad now type thing. The midfielders as well. Stavrou and Fisher, we expect to see them having a big day today. Spralia is an excellent ruck. I mean, is he in big V contention?
He has to be, because he was named in the extended squad, I believe, last year, but it was Billy Coates from St Kevin's who knocked him off, and of course Billy hasn't played all year.
Yep.
I haven't looked at the St Kevin's squad yet for their game today, but I believe that today is the first game where he's been available for senior selection 1 week before the bye, so you would imagine that Spralia would get the nod. The question for him is whether Jack Bell out of Old Haileybury might get a look, and maybe someone like an Alex Murkov in Premier B who's been performing very strongly. Just on Campbell Lane, this year 30.1 disposals a game, a season high of 41 as you mentioned earlier in the year, 31 disposals, 15 contested possessions, 9 clearances from a wing, which is mighty impressive from Campbell, and of course the game sealing goal in last week's win over the University Blues. A bit more on the Xavs in a moment, but now let's get down to Harrison McIlwaine, who's riding the boundary for us today. Harrison, conditions look pretty good here at Toorak Park.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous day here in Paran. Thank you, Paddy. 17 degrees currently. No showers forecast for much of the afternoon. It's a little bit chilly in the shade, but there's some gorgeous autumn afternoon sun out on the field.
Let's take us through the team changes. There's a few key ins for Collegians. Nathan Boucher is one of those who I believe is playing his last game before he jets off to London for a new job, Harrison.
Yeah, that's the one. There's a few others as well. Jack Howard comes in for a debut. We'll talk to Geordie about that in a little bit. Geordie Carroll comes in, and Luke Nelson with the Carlton VFL bye comes in. And for Old Xavs, Jack O'Sullivan and Jed Fennelly both come back from 1 week injury breaks.
The emissions for the Old Xaverians, I think we just saw Ben Moyle running around in the reserves game that's just finished behind you.
Yep, so for Collegians or Xavs?
For Xavs, sorry.
For Xavs, sorry. Yeah, Xavier Austin's played the under-19s game today, and Ben Moyle has played the reserves. And for Collegians, Jim Bazzani's unavailable, Corey Cassidy has a hamstring complaint, Josh Walker was the travelling emergency for Coburg VFL on the Gold Coast, and Lockie Smith misses through injury as well.
Good for Josh Walker to get that opportunity. Thank you, Harrison. The Coburg team having a big win against the Gold Coast Suns in that VFL contest. Hugo and Harrison, let's go around the grounds for Marshall White, selling prestige homes for more than 50 years, because there are 4 other games in William Buck Premier Men's. They've all started with the 2 o'clock bouncers. Harrison, what are the scores so far?
So D-Lar have an early lead over Old Brighton, 2-3-15 to 1-1-7. Old Scotch lead Uni Blues early, 2-3-15 to 1-0-6. Old Haileybury and St Bernard's, we're seeing a scoreless start there, so 0-0 still. And Scabs have a slight lead over Uni Blacks, 2-2-14 to 2-0-12.
All for Marshall White. Thank you, Harrison. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on. Hugo, where do you want to start with those early scores?
Oh, let's go straight to the D-Lar Old Brighton game. Blow the siren, I say, Paddy. Let's get it done. No, well, D-Lar have started very well all year. I don't know, they made a few inclusions of some good young talent. But it's good for them just to know that they can play that sort of footy. So let's just see what happens for the rest of the day. Get a few positives out of that, and that's a win for them.
Yeah, it's a few more under-19s, I believe, coming back into the squad this week as well, Hugo.
Yeah, I think they've debuted 13 this year so far, and I think they've had 6 or 7 up there at the moment. So I know that they're Nick Walsh, their Premier 19s coach, he's just saying, what haven't I got this week? What haven't I got? But look, it's great for the club. The more games you can get into these young guys, when players get to that 30-40 game mark, that's when they still really start to sort of play some of their better footy. Can't buy experience, Paddy.
So the broadcast games today, Old Haileybury and St Bernard. So the Road Dogs, of course, 4-0 on the road, taking on the Blood to a 3-0 at home. So something's got to break there. That one's playing out on VAFA.com.au, so you can be watching that one on the Ammo's website. Old Scotch and the Uni Blues, also on VAFA.com.au. And of course, our game here on the SEN app and on VAFA.com.au. You can listen to it, and you can also watch live streaming pictures as well, paired up with the commentary. So your Saturday afternoon, if you're at home on the couch, is absolutely set. Harrison McIlwaine will be down on the boundary again for us in just a few moments' time with Old Xaverians coach Dan Donati, as we see the reserves just shaping up to shepherd on both senior teams onto Toorak Park. The Xavs having a massive reserves win over Collegians to start proceedings today. I'm particularly interested in this Uni Blacks v St Kevin's game. You may have heard, Hugo, early in the pieces we were playing out for the love of the game with yourself and Jason Bennett. Last year, when the Blacks got to host St Kevin's came in the highly fancied team. The Blacks were able to beat them on that deck. They play that ground really well. They've added some midfield class this year with Kane Loftus down from Geelong, who's come up and plays that inside-outside role from clearance. I think St Kevin's are a little bit gettable, considering that their recent form hasn't been too much chop.
Yeah, and what about that podcast? I heard it was the most listened to of the season so far. That was really good inclusions there. But no, seriously, Blacks are hard to get a read on. You know, I haven't seen too much of them, but we watch the results and everything. They beat up on D-Lar last week. Today, that is generally going to be an indication for where they are this season. I mean, it's a great season so far. It's very, very tight. Now, St Kevin's probably need to get a little bit more consistent. I know Plugger was a bit annoyed about not being able to string a couple of good games together. Today, they need to bounce back after last week.
Yeah, it's really important for them. They are a team that don't typically lose 2 games in a row. They have a habit of getting themselves up off the canvas when they need to. And as I look down at the team list, still no Billy Coates named in the squad. Early goal scorers at that contest out at the University Oval at St Kevin's currently by 2 points for Marshall White. Critchley and Barnett, the goal scorers for the Scobbers. Singles for James Clark and that man Kane Loftus for the University Blacks. Old Scotch Uni Blues out at Camberwell Sports Ground. The Scotchies impressed us so much. It was James Tarrant who came back into the squad, who waxed beautifully with Will Clark up forward. They've had this really awkward run where their VFL players haven't been available. They've had some injuries. They've had to blood a lot of young players. it now seems like it's coming together at the right time for the Cardinals.
Yeah, probably completes their forward line. Just looking, I know it's early in the first, but they've already had 6 scoring shots to 2 for the Blues. So it's definitely getting a bit of supply, probably more entries, and they're definitely, well, we know what they do. They're reigning premiers. You can't get much better than that. And, well, yeah, current premiers would be better, but, they're building, and maybe we got a false read on those early couple where they didn't get the job done.
Yeah, James Tarrant with a couple of goals in that game already.
Surprise,
James
surprise.
Stewart and Archie Bain, the 2 goal scorers for the University Blues. And as we mentioned, no score yet out of Old Xaverians and St Bernard's. That one's gone about 20 minutes. Still 0-0, playing 0-0. You mentioned Old Haileybury. Do you think that they can sustain their hot early season form? Top 4, of course, at the moment. The Premier B premiers, strong VFL presence in this senior squad. Do you feel like, as you press the siren button there, Hugo, beautifully multitasking, do you feel like they can continue on this early form and hold it through the rest of the season?
Look, they've been a surprise packet. We've seen them a couple of times. Against Delar, they struggled to win that game, to be quite honest. It was just a good patch, and Mr. Excitement himself, Stefan Arcus, he stepped up and won that game for them, single-handedly, virtually. But they seem to be gelling a lot better. I mean, Bell's an amazing ruckman. They've got some really good inside talent. It's something that they do have good defenders as well. Darragh Seckel down there, he's amazing. Their avenues to goal are probably spread, and that's why the Spurs are kicking those as the players run out now. Big crowd here today too. Big crowd here. But Haileybury, I've got written down about Haileybury. Will they continue with their form? So they'll be disappointed. Remember, they only lost to Xavs in the last sort of couple of kicks of the day, and that's Xavs' fitness coming over the top. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting what the Bloods do. But 0-0 already, I think. The scorekeeper's gone to sleep there.
Perhaps. We'll get down now to Harrison McIlwaine, who's by the boundary at Toorak Park. He's got the coach of the Old Xaverians, Dan Donati, beside him.
Thanks, Paddy. So, Dan, you kicked 3 of the last 4 goals of the match to run out winners last week. Is there a confidence that comes with a win like that?
Oh, look, there's always the confidence that you can run a game out. I don't think we were at our best last week, so we've had a really good week reflecting on that, mate. We want to get a good start this week rather than be 4 goals down like we have been the last few weeks.
What can you do to get your run and carry going, say, it's sort of been lacking in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, we've focused on it, so now it's over to the boys to execute it. It's certainly been a big focus. We want to shift the ball, we want overlap run, but to do that you need guys running to receive. So I'm hoping we see a bit more of that today.
Lukic has had some days out this season. What's the plan there?
Look, Jack Whitehead will get first crack at him. He's a good player, Lukic. He's getting better actually every year I've seen him. So look, we've got a good matchup for him. Jack's been really good for us. He's stopped Kerr. He's kept a couple of guys goalless. So we'll give him first crack at it.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks to Harrison McIlwaine and Dan Donati there. Harrison will be joined by Collegians coach Geordie McKenzie in just a few moments' time. A line from you before we get down to Geordie McKenzie, Hugo?
Yeah, look, excited about this contest today. Xavs need to start well. We know they finished very well. They need to start well early, but Collegians, the massive clearance work last week. Look, this is going to be a great battle of 2 really seriously good midfields. Both these teams play very similar sort of styles. They both realise that those higher entries don't work for them, but for some reason they end up getting a lot of high entries, so they do roll extras up to the contest, and that gives it a little bit of a disconnect. I really want to see Lukic get back in the goals today. The matchup there, is Hart going to go to him? I mean, Hart did a great job on Stewart last week. It's going to be good matchups all over the ground. Hey, you wouldn't be putting your hand up to go out in the wing to lane, would you?
Oh, no, you wouldn't. I think you just sort of let Campbell go at the first siren and you catch up with him after the game. Let's get back down now to Harrison McIlwaine, who's joined by the coach of the Collegians, Geordie McKenzie.
Thanks, boys. Now, Geordie, including today, across the last 3 weeks, you will have played the top 3 defences in the competition. What have you learned about your side in this stretch?
Yeah, look, there's been some really good learnings. I think one of the good things is that we've been in each contest. So I think our game style stacks up, and probably the challenge is can we do it for longer? So to be in winnable situations, even last week it did blow out, but we worked our way back into the game to be in there at 3/4 time. So look, it's a really, really strong, tough, even competition, and it shows if you just do laps for that sort of 10-15 minutes, size, as you said, with the good defences, it's going to be really hard to penetrate. So that'll be a challenge. Xavs again this week, they're a really good side, they're in good form, so can we bring our brand for longer to compete?
Now, speaking of Xavs, they do average about 25 points or 4 goals more than you guys per game. What are you doing today to look to bridge that gap?
Yeah, they look to control the ball a fair bit, especially sort of in their back half. So we're going to put a really big focus on taking away their uncontested mark and trying to force them, long and high, which, that's not their preference. That's not the way they want to play. So we think we've got some real weapons, in the air as well, especially sort of in our back half of the ground. So if we can get some pressure up the ground, take away that uncontested mark chain, and then try and send it back and keep the ball in our forward half, I think it'll go a long way to winning the game.
Now, speaking of your back half, Jack Howard's debuting today. What can you tell us about him?
Jack's the younger brother of Ben, who's played with us for a couple of years. So Jack's a really good kid. Second year out of school, really classy operator. He makes good decisions. He's got good skills. Pretty versatile. But he's been playing down back lately, and he'll play down back today. Good with the ball in his hands. He's really worked on his sort of contested and defensive side of the game too. So we're confident he can be up to the level.
Thanks, Geordie. Back to you, boys.
Thanks, Harrow. This is the Saturday warm-up, all thanks to Mequicare, providing care for more than 16,500 people each week across Greater Melbourne and regional Victoria since 1959. Great to catch up with Geordie McKenzie pre-game. Hugo Higginbotham, we've spoken a lot today about the Old Xaverians and the rest of the competition and what a win would mean for the Xavs today. Collegians, we know we need one. Where do you think they can find an advantage on the red and black?
Clearance work. Clearance work was huge last week against St Kevin's, which is a really... Was it St Kevin's? No, they played... Brighton last week they played. It's going to be whether they can find that link from the middle of the ground to the forward line. That's where they've fallen down. They need that avenue to goal. Their defensive work was amazing last week in the third quarter. I think they held Old Brighton's goalless, which is no mean feat. It comes down to their start. If they can start really well, put some pressure on Xavs, and they'll know Xavs are coming. But if they can limit the amount of ball that's turned over, because their turnover numbers were massive last week, if they can limit those turnovers moving forward, which can result in a bit of run and carry, shorter kicks, retain possession, it's going to give them a very good look at it. They want to see those, and you're probably getting a theme here, but I hate high entries, as a lot of the coaches do. Deeper entries, more dangerous, and they've got some really good small players down there. But Lukic, it's a good day for foot. It's actually a great day for footy.
It's a wonderful day.
It's amazing. So I'd like to see Lukic getting in the goals and getting in early. I think a young player like that, he needs to get a bit of confidence. He's been down a little bit for the last couple of weeks, but going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah, with 19 goals in the season, Lukic, he's equal first with Andreas Stefanakis for goals across the Amos, but just one across his last fortnight. We spoke to Geordie McKenzie a little bit earlier in the week, Hugo, and he said that he hasn't necessarily been playing badly. It's just that the attention has now come to him. You're seeing the spares drop into his space, so he's not able to get the ball in that contested space that he's previously operated in, but he now has to find a different way to score his goals, which is the tricky part. Yeah, look, you're at the top of the goal-kicking ladder, you're going to get some attention. Oh, yeah. But also, too, is it the type of entry that's coming in? As a coach, you always talk about, is it a clear entry or a pressed entry? If it's a clear entry, then, lead on your 45, lead to space, because they're going to hit you up. If it's a pressure entry, the ball is generally just going to come long, high, and in the middle of the ground. Don't lead sideways in. You've got to read, and that's because he's a young player. He probably just needs a bit more time in the game as the big key forward, and then he'll get a bit better at judging what sort of entry is coming in. So for the first time today, thank you, Hugo. Let's welcome in the fourth member of our commentary team to the commentary box at Toorak Park. Simon Petch joins us behind the glass here in the inner southeast of Melbourne. Hello, Petchy.
Paddy and Buttons and Hugo and Harrison down on the boundary. Yes, nice to be here. First time here in the new pavilion. It's magnificent here. It's terrific that they could actually build a pavilion and put a broadcast centre in it. And there's a lot of places that just don't do that. So it's nice to be here. Nice area. Good overview of the ground. It's a sunny day. Clouds broken up. And there's not a breath of wind out there. So it doesn't matter who wins the toss. Doesn't matter which way they'll kick. It doesn't really matter here today. The ground, centre wicket, obviously they've watered that centre wicket area. It's rather soft in there, which is good for the players if they fall on their kneecaps. And the surrounding area of the ground, it's drought-proof grass down here naturally. Starting to brown off a bit now that we're getting into winter. And the surrounds are absolutely magnificent. It's rather firm underfoot. And moulded soles will be the style of boot here today. Hugo, I'm sure about that.
You would think so. I'll be curious to some of the matchups today, Petchy. We've got the old bull and the young bull in the middle of the ground. Yes. We've seen Johnny McGuinness before. He's got that real wrestling, grappling style. And then we've just got Alex Bralia, who is elite in all assets, facets of ruck work, and he's got a lot of assets too. I mean, he kicked goals last week, gents. So it's going to be a fascinating battle, that one.
Yeah, 15 and a half disposals and nearly 50 hit-outs a game this year for Alex Spralia, who's enjoying a really good couple of years. Collegians kicking to the right of your radio dial, to the High Street end of Toorak Park, or to the right of your picture if you're watching on vafa.com.au. And the Old Xaverians will be going to the left of screen, or to the left of your radio dial, towards the Toorak station end. As Simon Petch mentioned, barely a breath of wind, if any, out there. It's a gorgeous day for footy. Some early clouds have burnt off, and we're just about ready for a start here at Toorak Park. It's second Old Xaverians, their best start to a season since 2021, which was of course cut short, versus Collegians, their worst start since 2021. Who will the Fortunes favour today? For the first term, you're in the hands of Simon Petch. That's all thanks to Marsh.
Thanks, Paddy. And a game about to get underway here. He bounced it. Well, have a look at that. That's just gone straight out of the centre circles, and he'll do it again here. It's rather firm in there. I think they might just have to throw it in the air for the rest of the day. We'll wait and see, but Spralia got the first hand onto that one. Out of the middle, it's a bouncing ball. Fisher a handball, found Stavro, who kicks the ball towards centre wing, and the mark taken here by O'Sullivan here for Xavs. So centre wing commentary side, bathed in sunshine. O'Sullivan just saying he's going long as he possibly can. He does that, centre half for the target. Fell here to Westcott, trying to get a kick away. He couldn't, he goes in after it again. Handball came out, Boucher overran it. Foul here to Phipps, Parsons got a handball, not a good one. Boucher goes backwards though, all the way here to Warren. And he sees it through for a minor score. First score, a minor one. To Xavs, they go into one behind 1 point. Collegians yet to score. For Marsh, we've gone just on a minute in this first quarter.
Ensuring the VAFA. For more information on how Marsh can help you, you can visit their website at marsh.com.au. Ball into the centre of the ground from the restart, where it's gathered by Jack O'Sullivan. Kicks it back inside 50. Westcott and McIsaac. McIsaac roves. His kick was smothered by Davey. Rebounded to Simeopoulos, who snaps on the right foot. And they're peppering early the Xavs. He misses to the right-hand side. 2 early behinds for Marsh. Collegians yet to go past halfway, Hugo.
Gents, I just noticed that first entry, Spralia actually pushed very deep forward there and took their big young ruckman Jonty with him. So maybe that's something. Another avenue to goal for Xavs today that way.
So scoreboard side of the ground, ball kicked back in. Davies got it here for Collegians. He plays on, goes up towards half back. No one takes the mark. Simeopoulos there, ball bounced away from him. O'Sullivan goes in short, and the mark taken here by Woodhouse.
So Woodhouse just got lost a bit in transition there, so no Collegians blokes picked him up, and just a nice easy hit up forward line. They're looking good early, the Xavs.
Well, we've only just gone 2 minutes. This will be their third shot at goal and their first real shot. Woodhouse has got it out of sight of the ground, scoreboard side of the ground, bathed in sunshine. No breeze down here. He's going to the apartment complex end of Toorak Park, formerly the Melbourne Border Works, and he's put it through. So first score on the board is a major one there for Xavs. They go into 1-2-8. Leading Collegians yet to score, and Woodhouse kicks his first goal of the afternoon.
Very good hit up there to Woodhouse, and very easy to take a mark when you don't have a defender on you. But that's a great start there. Petchy, earlier we saw the umpire bounce, and I've not seen that for 15 years. It didn't go too well, obviously.
It didn't go very well for him, and I dare say that he won't do it again. But we're about to find out, Hugo. I think maybe after that, just put it in the air.
There we go.
Yeah, straight up in the air, McGuinness in the purple headband today. Couldn't really get a fist to it. Fisher and Simeopoulos, and now Stavro all work together in the centre circles. Now McIsaac on a long lead. Went over his head, left half forward. Westcott's over the footy. Bilby dispossesses him, comes the way of Knott. Forces it back to Ralph, who kicks it inside 50 and turns it over. Collegians well set up behind the footy. And now from right half back, it's a long kick towards us. Spralia's just about unopposed and will take this in his hands, easy as you like. Ralph peels off in for the handball option. Kick came from Pinchbeck, the tackle machine. Spralia puts it back inside 50. Phipps Parsons flew from a few deep and couldn't get hands to the footy. It's belted out of play, left forward pocket. Old Xaverians in attack.
And belted out of play by McGuinness. So ruckman to ruckman there. But that's a good play by Jonty McGuinness getting back in there, and that's what he's got to do. He's going to have to be down there spoiling those entries. We've seen a few of them already, boys.
For Marsh, the Xavs 1-2-8. Collegians yet to score, yet to go inside 50. 4 minutes gone, first term. McGuinness is pushed down. Simiopoulos at ground level, tried to evade the tackler, got the handball, kept it in play. Charlie McIsaac. It bent through! Right behind it here in the pavilion. Just got enough bite on the snap. And it curves through for Charlie. The Old Xavs on fire, 2-2-14. Collegians yet to score. We've played under 5 minutes in this first term. McIsaac and Woodhouse, early goal scorers. This is some start from the red and black. Hugo Higginbotham.
I think it is, and I saw Charlie. He pointed up at you, Paddy. He said, "Find my footage, find my footage." At least we know beyond the highlights reel now. That was an amazing goal. But I don't think Collegians have won a clearance here so far, and young McGuinness hasn't got his hand on the ball. Spraller is getting up over the top of him, so McGuinness might have to change. He might have to come in and try and just get a bit of body on. There's the umpire. Is he going to bounce?
No, well, he'll throw it in the air. Different umpire this time. Throws it in the air. Spraller got a hand onto that one. Stavro going through, held up there by Putris, and will have a ball up in the middle of the ground. So 2-2-14 Xavs. Collegians yet to score. We've gone just on 5 minutes in this first term down here at Toorak Park today, the home of Old Xaverians, bathed in sunshine. Nice afternoon in the sun down here today. And the ball still in the centre square, just edging towards Collegians' goal. Thrown in the air again. Both rucks go at it. Stavro ends up with it. Handball O'Sullivan had plenty of it. Goes out wider here and markedly taken by Woodhouse. He had Westcott in support, didn't use him. Goes the left boot inside, 45. And McIsaac came out and took a strong mark in front.
Seems very driven today, Charlie does. But what about the vertical leap on him? That's amazing. But that was another very good hit up. Very good hit up to advantage.
The kick from Woodhouse had to be perfect, and it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Hey, Woodhouse, that was an excellent roving effort after the mark was failed to have taken and it hit the ground. So that second effort there was very good.
Second effort, terrific.
Almost cat-like, as you say.
Righto, this day is for big scores here today. Xavs looking at their third of the afternoon, and he won't bend that one back. McIsaac, he wanted it to. He ruled it, but it wouldn't go. 2-3-15 Xavs. Collegians haven't gone outside their centre square area in the first 6.5 minutes of this first term, are yet to score.
So Nelson, one of the inclusions today for the purple and gold, belts it into the middle of Toorak Park. Big pack forms. Nelson will follow up his own good work from centre half back. Drives it past halfway. Coming up a long way was Mayhood to attack the footy. Might have taken the opponent high. The umpire said play on. And now holding the ball. So
there we go.
Well, executed in the end by Big Barry Mayhood, who is 80 metres from goal. It's Collegians' first foray inside their forward 50. Down by 15 points. The Old Xaverians 2-3-15. A long kick. Across the front of the contest it comes. Carroll, one of the other inclusions, his snap in the pocket was off hands and out of play, so it will be thrown in right forward pocket for the Lions. And their first chance, Simon Petch and Hugo Higginbotham, at putting a score on the board. It's been the Old Xavs early.
I'm not sure that was the right option by Mayhood then. He had a couple of short hit-ups where they could have ran carry through, got that deeper entry. But anyway, it's down there now. It's in there forward.
So down at the High Street end, or the Orong Hotel end of the ground down here at Toorak Park, ball to be thrown back in. Back in it comes in the forward pocket, thrown back in, Spray, a double-fisted down. Got it to Nodder, got a clearing kick, high up and under kick, and didn't go the required distance, and Carroll ended up with it. Then he was tackled, brought to the ground, and we'll have another ball up just inside the 45-metre arc here. For Collegians on the terrace side of the ground. Thrown back in the air, close to the boundary line. Will it stay in? Davey wants a piece of it. He couldn't get there. And we'll have another ball in.
So I'm just noticing there's a few spare Collegians players behind the ball. So Zad's got one or two extra up at the contest here, and Big McGuinness has come up to the ruck there.
So Orong Road side of the ground about to be thrown back in. Around 70 out from Collegians' goal. McGuinness grabs it out of the ruck, bursts his way through, got a kick down towards full forward. Mayhood, handball went nowhere, came back to Hart. He gets a kick to centre wing there for Xavs, fist away from McIsaac. Now Collegians end up with it. A handball came back to Carroll. A handball, not a real good one, but Davey ended up with it. He goes in towards the pocket. And it trickles towards the boundary line. It goes over, does it? No, it stayed in somehow. And eventually the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball this one up.
So, disappointing little entry there. There was no one there when he kicked it. I think Lucas didn't even know it was coming. But perceived pressure there, I think.
So for Marsh, Old Xaverians 2-3-15. Collegians yet to score. Right half forward for the Lions will get successive stoppages. You can see behind the footy, the only spare is pretty close to the contest in Jordan Carroll. So the Lions are opting to go 1-1 in the defensive half. On the 50-metre arc, they'll contest, and Stavro has the footy. Tries to get himself loose of Anderson, did so to Fisher. The handball was a little bit too hot. And the ball finds its way out of play again in front of the Lions bench. Jonty McGuinness coming off for a spell. Big number 37. So 60 metres from Collegians' goal. For Marsh, we've nearly gone 10 minutes, and it's the Xavs by 15. Looks like Zach Boza laid in for the Lions and the number 47. Spralia took it out of the ruck, kicked it long towards half forward. Big Fist came down. First of the footy will be not. Now he's in trouble. Got it to the inside. The Xavs might work it out by hand here. Dodging is Brosnahan. Opens himself up some space. The delivery is first class. And Westcott on the chest.
There was just no pressure there from the Lions. They had, Fisher was there. There was 3 Xavs players that raffled that ball there. And then on that entry, there was actually 2 Xavs players who could have marked it. Lions just got lost in transition. Not a great start.
Just getting confirmation, sorry, Hugo, that Zach Bowles is the late in for the Lions. The number 47 is a second ruck. We'll find out who that laid out was in due course. Meanwhile, with Westcott, who's at left half forward, 48 metres out. Slow approach, got very close to the player on the mark, and his kick is skinny. So for all the Xavs dominance, they haven't been able to reflect it on the scoreboard so far here at Toorak Park. They're 2-4-16. Collegians still yet to score. 10.5 gone for Marsh in the first term.
Yeah, 6 shots to 0. Really tells the tale so far as Collegians kick it out of defence and still inside defensive 45 commentary side. They keep possession, kick up towards centre wing. Mayhood meeting the sandwich, went up, couldn't mark, fell out the back to Sprayer, who roved it, handball to Stavro, a quick look away handball. Then they were stripped of it, Xavs, and it may come back here to Lukic. It does, he has to give it up to the umpire. And we'll have a ball up on the pointy end of the centre square.
Just getting some confirmation on that late change. Campbell Walker is the out through illness.
So Sprayer tried a kick, didn't work. Pinchbeck fell over, fell to Simeopoulos. Handball over the top, worked okay to Guiney, who got it off to Stavro. Who goes back to Knott. They're running out wide here, and Lane's got it. Lane into goal, should kick it, and he does. Umpire never moved. As soon as Lane put that on his boot, it went straight over the goal umpire's head. And Lane kicks a good, impressive goal for his side here in this first term. That's their third of the afternoon. They go on to 3-4-22. Collegians yet to score. We've gone just on 12 minutes in this first quarter, and a good running goal by Xavs.
Excellent goal by Lane there. He ghosted up and down that wing and just was running parallel with the ball. You could see he had an absolute paddock out there. He was screaming. So they went laterally from half forward there, just put it on his hands, and just the poise and the condition of the
yes, there's a bit of quality. He can read the play. I think Hugo's what you're saying.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
So this is all red and black to start. Danger now for Collegians, who really need to get some sort of advantage here. Pinchbeck on the bottom of this pack in the centre circles. We'll throw it up again. Coming off 3 20-plus tackle games in a row, Max Pinchbeck. So we'll be seeing him a lot on all fours, you'd think, over the course of this afternoon. Nelson. Handball was to Boucher, who was under pressure by Phipps Parsons. There's Campbell Lane proving he could do the contested work as well. Lays a big tackle.
So we're just seeing plenty of Xavs players in their defensive side of the ball. So once again, Collegians rolling extra to the contest.
Centre wing, far side. Ball back in the air. Woodhouse this time over it for the Xavs. And we'll do it all again. Simon Petch. So 3-4-22, the Old Xaverians. Collegians yet to score for Marsh. 30 minutes gone first term.
Centre wing, out of sight of the ground. And we'll have it done again because players are going nowhere. They're just hugging each other out there. Thrown in the air again. Woodhouse got that one down. Again, a pack forms and nothing really going on. So the ball's just dribbled towards Xavs' end of the ground. We've gone just on 13 and a half minutes in this first term, and it's all Xavs. 3-4-22. Collegians yet to score on a day that's built for football, really. And a Pinchbeck again on the bottom of that pack. Hart over the top of him. And we'll have another one. So this is the third. Thrown in the air. Woodhouse out the side. And once again, We're going nowhere. We're working towards Xavs goal.
I'm just noticing that Big Bear Mayhood is at the contest against Dave Friendly's just got free rein behind the ball. He can chop anything off that's coming down their way.
So Lane to Tuddenham at the first time of asking, and now Simeopoulos retrieves a bouncing footy. He's dragged off it. Collegians' pressure is hot here. Centre square still, and once again we'll have a stoppage. So Geordie McKenzie's group have been able to just keep this game tight for the last 90 seconds or so. It might allow them just to get settled. They're 22 points down, yet to score in this game of footy. Campbell Lane, it slips through his fingers, goes after it, Pinchbeck for company. He got it away, Campbell Lane. The Xavs now the other way. Through the hands of Woodhouse, they'll work it down the far wing. Simeopoulos with a few running bounces, pushes it ever wider. Westcott now with the entry to do. The kick was clipped on its way through. And it's taken now by Boucher of the Lions, who dodged to the inside, then to the outside, floated a handball in the direction of Braden Fleming. And he'll be tackled and under duress, the ball out of play, far side wing. Slightly an advantage for the Old Xaverians around the competition. It's Old Brighton by 8 points over D La Salle. The University Blues and Old Scotch tied at 18. The Old Haileybury squad up by a kick over St Bernard's out in South Caulfield as this ball from the throw-in goes back out of play. So for Marshall, White, Hugo, nothing to really note about aside from this game as far as margins go. It's pretty tight across William Buck Premier. At Toorak Park, it's the Old Xaverians 22, Collegians yet to score still.
So 3 goals kicked for the game only so far. Here's Bowes out of that ruck contest. O'Sullivan there again. He was in the thick of it in the first 5 minutes. And he gives the ball back to the umpire inside the centre square, favouring the Xavs end. Thrown in the air again. And this is becoming ridiculous. No one can get this clear. No one wants to get this clear. I think Collegians are just happy for this. Away they go again. Mayhood out of the ruck, got a handball, bad one. Simeopoulos upended Nilly. He got rid of the football, but charging through Carroll. Got a kick for Collegians, goes to centre wing, but rebounded back to Hamish McIsaac, who gets a kick out here, and Lane's all on his own. Out there on centre wing. Thomas late on the scene. So Lane's got it. Centre wing outer side of the ground. He keeps the ball low, goes towards Knott. It goes over the line out of play. And we will have a ball in, 70 out from Xavs goal.
So I just noticed Putris is a +1 behind the ball for Collegians, which is obviously leaving Fenley down the other end. But Putris is probably too deep at the moment. He's kicking a half away from where the ball is.
Thrown back in. Woodhouse at the back, Bowes in front. Woodhouse got a hand onto that one. They charge it down. Dunn overran it for Xavs. Still on centre wing outer side of the ground. Here's Simeopoulos. Puts it on his boot. Goes to centre half forward and does the hand. Has taken the mark for them inside 45.
Well, and that was a kick away, wasn't it? So Putris was half a kick behind that. If he's the plus in their forward line, he's got to be that kick away from the ball. I know they're worried about Charlie McIsaac, but, you know, Charlie McIsaac was 4 away from the ball there. Be where the ball's going to be if you're going to be an extra. Don't
well,
just
be able to read it.
You want to be where the ball is too. Don't just watch it. Otherwise,
the amount of uncontested marks the Old Xaverians have taken in their forward half would be seriously concerning, I think, for Geordie McKenzie and the Collegians coaching group.
Also well, they don't look interested, Collegians. That's my take on it. They don't look interested at all. It's a beautiful day for footy and they're giving nothing. So here's another opportunity here for Xavs to kick their 4th of the afternoon. Collegians yet to score. Puts it on its way. That's pretty good, Brosnahan. Didn't miss directly in front. They kicked their 4th of the afternoon. They go on to 4-4. Which tells me that's 28. And Collegians yet to score. And for Marsh, we've gone just on 17.5 minutes in this first term, and Brosnahan kicks his first. So they're all single goal kickers so far for the game.
Probably something that's a little bit concerning for Collegians as well is the Xavs have got a really good overlap run and carry handball through the middle of the ground and half forward, which indicates there's not enough pressure there or their players are out of position. They've just got to really slow this one down now and get it back on their terms. If it's got to be that crap footy for 10 minutes, well, just so be it.
Well, it was out there.
Yeah, to melt much of it.
Well, it's going the Xavs way again from the centre throw up because Fisher roved it beautifully and then through Lane and Guiney. The Xavs go back inside 50. Jack O'Sullivan dodges to the inside. Handballs to Spralia. He'll try and give it away to Fisher. Pace. It falls apart there, though. And O'Sullivan turns tackler on McGuinness and they'll get a stoppage inside 50 for their trouble. The red and black.
So Spralia is really pushing forward this quarter as well, isn't he?
He's making McGuinness work. Free kick in this contest going the way of Collegians. Going to Big Jonty McGuinness out of Sale. First year for Collegians. 6th senior VAFA game. Kicks it long down the far side wing, straight, as you mentioned, Hugo, straight to Tom Hart, who just chopped that one off like it was a marking drill pre-game. Puts it back inside 50. McGuinness in the hole. Reached up. Perry there also. Come the way of the Lions. Across the face of goal, Warren. Does the 360. Turns to his left. His handball was meant for McGuinness or Boucher. It's sloppy stuff here in their back half. They're handballing it around to Perry. He's now in trouble. Dispossessed by Tuddenham. Holding the footy. It's all red and black, Hugo.
Well, the biggest problem there, why did Warren go back into all the congestion? He had two players out, could have had a little 20-metre kick, retained possession, and they were out and away, because that was the way everyone was moving. But when you come back into congestion, this is what's going to happen when you've got no options. Every other player was on the other side of the ground. They should have opened the ground up there.
So Tuddenham is deep in the right forward pocket. He's got a kick of 25 metres ahead of him. He'll approach it straight. Right foot drop punt looked a little bit skinny, and in fact far too skinny. Out of bounds on the full, he won't score. So 28 plays zip, approaching time on, and in fact by the time this ball is kicked back into play, we will be in time on in the first term, all thanks to Marsh. And a reminder that Marsh ensure the VAFA, and for more information on how they might be able to help you, you can visit their website at marsh.com.au.
Kicking the man on the mark. Coaches love that. When you're in full-back position and you kick into the man on the mark.
Phipps Parsons doing the work, so it's another stoppage inside 50. Nothing's going right for Collegians, Simon Petch.
So 4-4-28. Xavs Collegians yet to score down at the apartment building end of the ground. Thrown back in, and Sprayer got a hand onto that one. Pinchbeck a handball. Goes towards Putris, who goes towards the boundary line and sees it over. And we'll have another ball in. 20 and a half gone. First term down here at Toorak Park, the home of Old Xavs. And they lead the way. 4-4-28. Collegians yet to trouble the scorer. Thrown back in. McGuinness over the back. No one there. And we'll have another ball up.
Similar to last week for Collegians. I think they had a horrible start as well. Might have to start looking at this.
Thrown in the air. Sprayer won that one down. Pinchbeck bottom of the pack. Semiopolis over the top of him, going nowhere.
This is the problem, I think, for Collegians. They've lost 6 of their 7 first quarters this year. This will be 7 of 8.
Thrown in the air again. Both rucks go at it. Of course, Semiopolis wrestled it away from his opponent. Then was brought to ground. And we'll have another ball up. Cameraman's not real busy today. This is virtually staying in one position as it did before. Here's Thomas. Now, can he just do something for them? A handball. Now get a clearing kick. Collegians into the middle. Cleary. Well, he dropped what he should have taken and went straight through him. Guiney. Handball came out. They go forward through Fisher to Xavs. Goes inside 45. 3 on 1. Now McIsaac's the loose one. He gets it around, goes a wobbly kick, not a real good one. Nearly opened the door, but Perry for Collegians kicks back blindly, and Tregar takes the mark for them and goes back into the middle of the ground.
So the switch to Fennelly works. He takes it to the cricket net side of the ground, the far wing.
Lane.
Campbell Lane, handball receive, operator kicks to left half forward. Not a great kick. Jasper Davey punches it out of play beneath the scoreboard.
He should have had a shot on.
Cleary's dropping something like that. You know there's something not right.
That's a confidence thing, isn't it? That's an Oz kick mark, that one. But they did have nothing forward of the ball there. They've just got bulk numbers around the contest at the moment. But yeah, you're right, Petchy. You should never drop those.
Confidence. Yeah.
By my count at the moment, gents, it's 10 shots on goal to 1. Here's Dylan Thomas for Collegians. Kicks it towards halfway. Again, the Xavs well represented behind the football. Go in and out of the hands there of Hamish McIsaac, and now with Campbell Lane, who feeds it back expertly to McRae. Back inside 50. Charlie McIsaac, who went through his legs. Brosnahan is there. A free kick going the way of the Lions down back. So they'll get a reprieve. Going the way of Perry. 4-4-28 for Marsh. Collegians yet to score. 23 minutes gone in this first quarter. Perry will go long down the line.
So he goes out wider here. Out towards between centering and half-back for Collegians, but they still can't get a run on. It'll come straight back, although Thomas takes the mark out there from an errant kick from Xavs, and Thomas has got it. Now he's slowing it down. He's actually looking towards us here to see which way he'll go.
He had options there.
He stays boundary side. Up towards centre wing. They set themselves. No one takes the mark. Semiopolis. Handball Lane. Handball back to Sprayer, who gets a kick. Sprayed it right off his boot. And Thomas again will get another opportunity here for Collegians and goes to Boucher.
Again, just looking straight down the line. they're not game to try and take the game on and open up the other side of the ground.
Goes towards centre wing, Boucher, McGuinness in front. Oh, from the side. Now, that was a good grab by Fennelly. He took it and goes backwards to come forward. And now Xavs have possession in the defensive area. McRae, handball back in through the middle.
Run and carry.
Tregar's got it, then lost it. Not a good handball. Put Guiney under pressure. Came back to McRae, who goes short with a kick out to Brosnahan, and he marks on centre wing.
Big mark, a mark of the day contender for Gorman Commercial, Melbourne's commercial property leader. The Xavs go into the corridor. It was a kick fraught with risk. McGuinness taps it away. And Dylan Thomas, who's had a really good 10 minutes, takes it away. Takes a bounce, goes towards centre half forward. The kick is no good. And McRae was feasted today across the half back line when it's got the way all the way down to him. Takes the mark and then goes to Campbell Lane, who's had a stack of the footy. He pushes it to the far side wing. Dan Tuddenham takes the mark unopposed. Has time to assess his options, kicks it just that little bit further. Hamish McIsaac inside to Campbell Lane, so they'll just pop it around by foot.
That's 50.
And that'll be 50 as the man of the mark encroaches.
What do you reckon he was doing there, Petch? That was a weird one.
I didn't see, actually. I was looking up the other end of the ground here to see what was going on. No, I didn't see there. Hugo?
It's lucky you didn't, mate.
Okay. I probably would have said something.
Campbell Lane, no one's standing the mark, so he runs to 55 metres, kicks it as long and as high as he can. It drifts across the face, though, and through for a behind. Again, the Collegians just falling asleep just a little bit across half-back. No one went to try and stop Campbell Lane's run. He got the extra 3 or 4 metres, and his execution saved Collegians bacon. 4-5-29, the Old Xaverians. Collegians still yet to score. We've nearly gone 26 minutes in this first term for Marsh.
So kick back in, commentary side, fist towards the boundary line. Dylan Thomas roved it beautifully. Now he has a run. Now he has a handball inside, and away they go. Stobie, that is. He goes long with a kick, no one at home though. Bounces in front of Hamish McIsaac, who goes across the face to Lane, and he takes the mark in halfback. Goes out wider here, and will the ball sit here for Tuddenham? It does. They get it back here. Still hold possession, but then a kick away by Collegians. Not a good one, and Lane ends up with it again. He goes in short here to Stavrou, and he takes the mark at halfback. At the old scoreboard end of the ground, Stavrou goes in towards centre wing and done. He takes the mark for them, plays on straight away over Phipps Parsons' head. Came out the back here. Perry's got it here for Putris, has got it for Collegians. Not a good kick. Hart ends up with it. Goes to Tregar. Goes back into the middle of the ground. And the mark taken. By Xavs. Centre of the ground. They bring it out here towards Sprayer. And he nearly marked it at his bootlaces.
So Sprayer, if he's up the ground, there's no one to mark this long kick. Gave it off to Fennelly riding shotgun. Kept the ball low again to Westcott. Darting up the centre of the forward 50-metre arc and takes the mark in his hands, and that's about the 4th or 5th time, Hugo Higginbotham, that they've taken strong marks inside 50 from elite entry.
Yes, no, very good there, but they're getting free rein behind the ball. So we saw before, I think it was Thomas had the ball on the wing. He had nothing in front of him. There was literally not another Collegians player in front of him. So that's where they're falling down, because they're panicking, they're sending too many to the contest, and they've just got nothing ahead of the ball. No avenue to goal.
For a 35-point lead, directly in front, no issues with that for Westcott. 5-5-35, the Old Xaverians for Marsh. Collegians yet to score. We might have a scoreless first term on our hands for the purple and gold. The Old Xaverians, they're going into the bye with some pep in their step. If this form is anything to go by for the rest of the year, Hugo and Petchy, this has been dominant.
Yeah, their ball use has been excellent, but you're seeing a marked difference to what we saw last week, Paddy. There's a lot more lateral movement, there's a lot more overlapping run, and a lot more handball through and forward handball too. So, but they're working hard. They're working very hard. They're very fit, aren't they?
About to be thrown up again in the middle of the ground. It's done now, and Fisher stripped of it. Goes in after it again for Xavs like a terrier. Got it out, got a handball. Not a good one, though. McGuinness fell over, then had to release to Mayhood, who released it to Putris. They go forward inside, 45. McCleary on his chest has taken the mark. He wasn't going to drop that one.
I knew it. There'd be something there.
So McCleary has taken, that is play of the day so far by Collegians out of the middle after McGuinness slipped over. He had to get rid of that ball, and he did. And it's ended up at the High Street end, the end in which Collegians kick in this first quarter, and their first real shot at the goals in this first term. We've gone just on 28 and a half minutes of McCleary directly behind him and misses, or is it comeback?
Gone straight over the top of the post.
Missed to the right and only a minor score. So that's their first. It's taken them nearly the first term to score. They go on to 1 behind 1 point. Trailing Xavs on 5-5-35. For Marsh, we've gone 29 minutes in this first term.
So O'Sullivan, right half back, this quarter drawing to a close. O'Sullivan will go to fullback where Tregar waits for it, and that will be quarter time here at Toorak Park. 5-5-35 the Old Xaverians. Just the one behind Collegians, a 34-point red and black lead. It's been dominant stuff. We'll have Geordie McKenzie's huddle on the other side of our break. Before we get to that break, Hugo Higginbotham, just remarkable performance from the Old Xaverians, who've started this game like a house on fire. What's gone wrong for Collegians?
Well, they haven't won a clearance. I think the one clearance they did win, they got a shot on goal, which is good. But they're working very hard for each other. They're not panicking. Their overlap run is sensational. It's a real marked difference. I can see that Nutsy's worked hard with them this week, and they've addressed those areas. And when we spoke to him, and I was probably a little bit harsh on him in the call last week and say, you know, they weren't looking laterally. Maybe it was my inspiring words, Paddy. He must have listened to the tape, and these have looked lateral. They haven't sent extras to the contest either. That's why we're seeing 3 or 4 behind the ball, because they're backing their teammates in to say, no, there might be extras there, but you can still win it.
A huddle report on the other side of this break thanks to Wagstaff. It's 5-5-35 Old Xaverians, just the one behind Collegians.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food. Because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Tickets are now on sale for the VAFA's 2025 Big V Gala Dinner presented by City Power. It's a landmark event, the largest function the VAFA has ever staged, and it's celebrating 100 years of Big V representative football. This historic evening will serve as the official opening to the Rep Football Weekend, offering a unique opportunity to honour the legacy of the Big V and its enduring significance within the VAFA community. The Big V Gala Dinner will bring together past players, coaches, club representatives and supporters to reflect on a century of tradition, achievement and pride. The evening promises to be one of the most significant in the VAFA's history. You don't want to miss it. It's at Centrepiece at Melbourne Park, Thursday the 10th of July 2025. Tickets now on sale at vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risks of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
5-5-35 the Old Xaverians, one behind Collegians at quarter time. It's been all red and black, a 34-point advantage for the Old Xavs, who've come out firing here at Toorak Park. Goals from Westcott, Brosnahan, Lane, McIsaac and Woodhouse in that first term. It took until the 29-minute mark for Collegians to score a point. Let's go inside the huddle now of the Collegians. Harrison McIlwaine is the man on the spot for us. He's got the mic for Geordie McKenzie's huddle.
Yeah, first 10-15 minutes, so come in real tight. 10-15. So their ability to go from contest to contest, be clean and tackle was really fucking good. Really good, okay, and that's where they dominated that part of the game, okay. Late in the quarter, we wrestled it back. Our fight and hunt, I thought Bear was the one that really got that going in there. Pinchy and blokes in there started to wrestle it back, okay. So the contest was back on, okay. So we had to go buckle up orange. So just for clarity, there should only be one spare behind the ball when we go buckle up orange, okay? So in that case, we just weren't quick enough to even up the numbers. It's hard and tough for the forwards, obviously, and hard for the blokes with the ball to hit a target going forward. I get it's frustrating, but we had to pull that lever because we're getting smashed around the contested footy, okay? This quarter, if we do buckle up orange at some stage, what we're going to do is, it'll be Pewey that comes in. We're not going to get that sag. We're just going to get a bit more representation around here. That won't be from the get-go. That's just if you do buckle up orange, okay? But hey, I reckon we've got a bit...
Let's now take ourselves out of Geordie McKenzie's huddle. Thanks to Harrison McIlwaine for the insights there. We'll be hearing from Geordie in a few moments' time as he walks off the ground. That's all thanks to Wagstaff, Australian-owned and operated family business that has supplied quality meats both here and abroad since 1908. Wagstaff.com.au. Buckle up orange. Hugo, tell me more.
Okay, so it's a code for the guys on the ground. So, like your traffic light, red is we just go to complete shutdown. Buckle up orange is we're not in complete shutdown. We're not going as hard as we can, which is green. And the buckle up is we're putting more pressure on them and making sure that they don't get more people at the ball and put more pressure on the ball carrier. So we did notice him say that he doesn't want any more than one spare behind the ball.
Let's now throw it back down to Harrison McIlwaine, who has the coach of Collegians, Geordie McKenzie, beside him.
Geordie, slow start there, mate. What did you to get back into this one?
Yeah, really disappointing. We just got smacked around the footy, especially early. We wrestled it back. We had to put a number behind the ball just to stem the flow a little bit. And look, the boys are fighting hard. Obviously, we're tested for depth around the footy, which is the challenge. But the boys are fighting in there. We've just got to level up a bit more around the ball like we did for that last 10 minutes and then play a bit of forward half footy, hopefully.
Yeah, your one scoring shot came from a Santa Clarence victory. How important is it to get things going in there?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they're a class unit, very competitive in the air and on the ground. So if we can match it in there, we think we've got some talent and some weapons to give ourselves some opportunities.
Thanks, mate. Good luck.
Thanks to Geordie McKenzie for the access there and for Harrison McIlwaine, who's made his way out into the middle of Toorak Park in the sunshine to get the views from the Collegians coach, Geordie McKenzie, all for Wagstaff. Hugo Higginbotham, what do you expect now from this opening 10 minutes from Collegians?
Well, you'd like to see, I see Mayhood's in the middle now. You'd just like to see them winning a few clearances. I mean, it's going to be a tough road back, but they do start slowly. So let's just see. Maybe they've had a good look at Xavs now. Didn't show too much in the first quarter, so they'll reset and just sort of probably need to get a little bit more balance and shape behind the ball because they're giving away just far too many extras. So lacking that real avenue to goal like we've spoken about.
The second quarter coming up for Bowens. The Builder's Choice, bowens.com.au. Simon Petch on the call for the VAFA SEN Match of the day.
Okay, let's see if Collegians going to the apartment complex end of the ground can do anything in this second term. But straight away, Xavs go forward as Kenny went back with the flight of the ball. Couldn't mark, but it was a good attempt. And then the ball dribbles over the line out of play. We'll have a ball in.
It's good work by Caddy there. Only eyes for the ball.
Good. Eyes only.
I notice Campbell Wayne's on our wing. We get the front row seat, boys.
So thrown back in, 45 out from Xavs goal. Attacking to the high street end in this second term. Fist away by Warren to the boundary line. Is seen over and we'll have a ball in. So we've got a new line, the new light tower here against one of the real old ones. It's been up here since about the 1960s, I reckon, that old light tower. They haven't taken that away. Must be heritage listed, I reckon. Here's Thomas out of the contest. A handball now. Fleming in trouble. Got a handball to Mayhood, who'll just about kick it out of bounds on the full. And it will just stay in and then fist its way out. And we'll have a ball in.
He might have been lucky there, Big Bear Mayhood, that bounced along the boundary line, because if that had bounced and gone straight out, it would have been a topic of conversation.
That it would have. Goodness gracious me. So from right in front of us, between wing and half forward for Collegians, still looking for their first goal of the game. Mayhood will track it back from the tap. He's got Nelson, who hacked it forward. That just carries into the hands, though, of Campbell Lane, who might be up to about 20 disposals already. He has dominated possession, went laterally to McRae, who was inside his defensive 50, and he might push it even further back. So from the very last line, Fennelly, Richmond VFL listed player, goes beyond left half back. Well-weighted kick. Hart advances it now further down the far side of the ground. Guiney let. The fist came over the top from Henry Anderson. The Xavs at ground level trying to work it out. A whistle on the play for a throw. And it's a free kick going the way of Collegians.
Let off for Collegians here because the Xavs were out. They were gone.
So out of sight of the ground. into the first couple of minutes of this second
That's
term.
good, that's better.
And they go backwards to go forward. So Warren with
Gotta
the sun
keep
in his eyes. Down in defensive 45 at the high street end of the ground. On the outer side of the ground, he'll go up. Back virtually whence it came. Stavru eyes only for the footy, but good mark. Taken out there. And Boucher ends up with the handball, and he goes to Canny, and he marks inside the centre square. Now to Bilby, who goes out wider here to Thomas, who then goes out wider to Davey. Collegians keep possession. Not a real good handball. That was terrible. Boucher was not in the right spot to take that. Phip Parsons took the handball. Handball Woodhouse. Got it back here to Dunn, who lost it. Goes in after it again. Nearly lost his head because Thomas came through. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. So centre wing right in front of the terrace, so wrong road side of the ground, thrown in the air. No addition to the quarter time score by both sides. Mayhood. Handball pinch back. Now Tregar ends up with it.
So Tregar picks it out. He's at right half back. Again, this switch. So Fennelly has been the second in the chain on both occasions and then has spread it wide. This time it's Whitehead. Has the Lukic job today. Kicks it down the cricket net swing to Simeopoulos on the bounce, who turns onto his favoured left and goes on the right. Props up the kick. Woodhouse comes up from half forward and marks on the wing. Fisher's riding shotgun, receives the handball, kicks it low inside 50 to McIsaac on a long lead. And at right half forward, Charlie might back his own ability here.
Just love the work of Fisher there. That left foot, didn't panic in the right spot, but the build-up was very good by Zabs. You can see that effort to transition the ball laterally across the ground, but at least they go with conviction and they go for it, not stopping and starting.
So McIsaac's already got one. That's 16 on the season. He's going to have to kick this from 55 metres. Pretty tricky angle as well from left half forward. It's a bit short. McGuinness reached up on the goal line, punched it back into play, and then eventually out of bounds in the left forward pocket. So Old Xavs 5-5-35. Collegians the one behind. 4 minutes gone in this second term. As I mentioned, Simon Petch, no addition to the quarter time score. 34-point leaders, the red and black at home. That's all thanks to Bowens, the builder's choice.
So plenty out there having a look at this on the outside the fence and goes towards the boundary line again. Players, look at that, arms in the air. How would you know where that's come from? Just get the ball and throw it back in. Just get on with it. Deary me. Like, how would you know where that ball come from when it's close to the boundary line? They're all just waving their arms. Give it to me, I'll take it. Throw it back in. That's the way to go. And they do just that. Woodhouse got it down. Then Guiney roved it well. McRae ended up with it. Got it back into Lane, who goes into goal. It goes across the face. And only a minor score there to Xavs, taking them on to 5-7-37. Collegians one behind 1 point for Bowens. We've gone 5.5 minutes in this second term.
Gamelin had 31 disposals last week. I dare say he might have 31 by half-time at this rate. He has leather poison. What a grab from Fennelly. A mark of the day contender for Gorman Commercial. He landed pretty heavily as well, Jed. Slow to his feet, able to take his kick. Right in front of us, just on the edge of the centre square. Commentary side wing. Kicks it inside 50, coming across the front there, look like Bealby or Perry. Into the hands of Westcott, it turns onto his left and picks out Jasper Davey of Collegians. His kick went to a dangerous place, and now Davey, of course best and fairest winner last year for the Lions, picks out Bealby at left half back. They're trying to work their way along this commentary wing. Bealby's eyes are for the corridor. Now he's in trouble. Pursued by McIsaac, goes back to Perry, and he'll go across the goal mouth. All okay to Canny, right back pocket. Next one in the chain is Davey, who's worked up, but they're still trapped inside the defensive 50. Davey's kick's going to hang him in for Pinchbeck. Westcott comes and spoils his lunch. Mayhood has to work hard, gave it back to Max Pinchbeck, who just spirals it into the middle of the ground. Bowes back with the fly, takes on his chest.
That's a good mark.
They've got a one-on-one inside 50. Bowes is going to go quickly. It's to the edge of the 50-metre arc. They'll battle over it at ground level. Lukic pursues it. Guiney is there. Lukic at ground level picks it up and is wrapped up by Hart just outside the goal square. And Collegians, they've got their best chance at a goal all day. 15 metres out, it'll be thrown up.
They sure have, because that was a good mark and kick there by Bowes to get it forward for them down at the apartment complex or pavilion end of the ground here at Toorak Park. Thrown in the air again. Sprayer won it down. Thomas robed it beautifully. Goes into goal and missed. So minus score to the Collegians. That's their second. They're going to 2 behinds, 2 points. Yes. 2 behinds, 2 points. We've gone 7 minutes in this second term. Xavs on 5-6-36. Margin of 34 points for Bowens in this second quarter.
So for Marshall White, the University Blues on VAFA.com.au, a point clear of Old Scotch, 38 playing 37 at Campbell Sports Ground. Great intercepting grab, as you mentioned there, Hugo, by McCleary. He'll go back inside 50 to number 13. What's Putris, who has to fly from behind. Got a bit of his fingers and then went through to the next contest, where Whitehead does the tackling for the Old Xavs. It'll be thrown up 25 metres out from Collegians' goal.
This is better from Collegians, a bit of front half footy. That's what they need to do. Need to maintain it in there.
Sprayer wrestles Lukic, a snap out of the pack. That might have carried the way through. It was touched off the boot, says the umpire. So it might have been Stobie, perhaps, who snapped that one out of the contest. And it's a third behind for Collegians. The margin down to 33 points. Old Xaverians 36, Collegians 3 behinds.
Yeah, well, peppering away like that isn't going to do it for you. You're going to be able to kick goals in this game, and here's Fitzparsons gets a kick for Xavs, goes up to Fisher, and he takes the mark for them. Half back out of sight of the ground, looking someone to come up to him. He wanted to go to Hamish McIsaac, but elects to say centre wing out of sight of the ground. And Xavs still have possession. Woodhouse out there for them. Goes short with a kick. That worked okay. Simeopoulos turned around, goes to half forward. Mark taken by Brosnahan. Beautiful kick. He just spun around there, Dennis. He knew that Brosnahan was coming, and the kick was just perfect for him to land lace out on his chest. And not a Collegians player in sight.
The standard of entry again, isn't it, for Old Xavs, Hugo?
It is, but the Collegians look a little bit confused here. They've got half of their side playing man on, the other half in his own setup. So there's holes everywhere.
So Brosnahan looking at his second goal of the afternoon, and Xavs 6th. High Street end of the ground, drop punt. Distance will be just okay. And he's put it through. So goal umpire signals all clear there, and Brosnahan kicks his second of the afternoon, and he is the first multiple goal kicker for Xavs. They go on a 6-6-42, leading Collegians on 3 behinds, 3 points. We've gone just on 9.5 minutes in this second term.
So for Bowens, 39 points to lead. We're still waiting for Collegians' first goal of this first half of footy, and in fact of the game. We go around the grounds for Marshall White. The other results around William Buck Premier. Old Brighton clear by 26 points of Dealer, 54 playing 28. Old Haileybury by 14 points, 48 playing 34. St Bernard's, St Kevin's 28 playing 24. They're 4 points up on the University Blacks as we're away in the middle of the ground. Henry Anderson was tackled as he kicked towards Dylan Thomas, who Dunn is chasing. Thomas picked it up cleanly on his favoured left side, kicks it high towards the 50-metre arc. Bowes is 3 to beat, through the hands of Hart. Guiney now for the Old Xavs. An unorthodox-looking kick that worked out okay for Tuddenham, and he handled it to Fennelly. The half-back line working nicely for the Old Xaverians. It's a high kick in the McIsaac direction, who was impeded.
There was a hold.
Made sure the umpire saw it as well. Charlie threw the arms out wide at the opportune moment. Picked out by the man in green. Charlie McIsaac wants to go across the face of goal. It's a long, long kick to Ralph. It hung it for a while. McCleary now with him, and they'll turn it over. Great work in the air there by Richie Andrew. Haven't called his name too often. He comes unstuck though for Collegians. Now McRae with it. He'll push it back to Hart.
So Hart has it all on his lonesome out there. No pressure on him at all. Just underneath the scoreboard. Gave it off. McRae goes shorter. Now Xavs through the middle. Beto Sullivan out the back here. Perry, who gets a kick, not a real good one. It went along the ground, didn't favour anyone. McCleary picked it up. Handball Warren heard the call, went backwards here to give it to Carroll. He was under enormous pressure. Ball on the deck. Pinchbeck goes in. Carroll gets it back. Kicks off the side of the boot. Goes towards half forward. And Tuddenham wrapped up. Brought to ground. Will have a ball up. And
Luke was happy with that tackle, wasn't he? Let him know about it.
Players just jumper pulling, really.
That's all they do these days, Petchy.
Give me a break. Muzzle save your energy. Thrown in the air again. Woodhouse palmed it down, and a Boucher into goal, but no one at home for them. And Xavs Ball clear out of defence.
It's a long kick towards Aspen.
Oh, there he is! You know, we got that one on the footage, Paddy. Right in front of you.
He's making a habit of this, is Charlie McIsaac, taking big hangers in front of the commentary booth. I wonder if he'll give us a little look. We'll make sure we get that one on camera, Charlie, as his kick is punched out of play on centre wing, broadcast side for a throw-in. Mark of the day, contender for Gorman Commercial, Melbourne's commercial property leader. We won't give him the clubhouse leader at this stage. While this ball is out of bounds, let's get down to our man on the boundary, Harrison McIlwaine.
Little win for Collegians, winning the territory there with two of their best clearance players in Mayhood and McGuinness on the pine for the minute. So nice of them to, although I say that and then they take a mark inside 50. So maybe scrap that.
Fisher to Stavro out of the throw up. Went straight into the hands of Charlie McIsaac again inside 50 off the boot of Marcus Stavro. He'll have a shot on goal. 45 metres out, 45-degree angle from right half forward, Hugo.
There's a great mark there, but not a contender. That might have to be a new nickname. Charlie the Contender McIsaac. Every time he touches it, it's a contender for Mark of the Week nearly. What an exciting player. But just probably disappointing by the Collegians to not put much pressure on there. And, you know, usual suspects getting involved. Stavro, he's a good player.
It's a tricky kick for Charlie McIsaac, the right footer. He'll have to bring it across the face. And he was a little bit too strong. He misses to the left-hand side. So the scoreboard ticking along nicely for the Old Xaverians. 6-7-43. They lead Collegians 3 behind, Hugo.
Something happened behind play there. Big Lucius ended up sitting on his bottom. I don't think he sat down there on his own accord.
It's a long way down for Alex Lukic.
Alrighty, Caddy's got it. He goes out wider here for Collegians. Putris had it fisted away from him by Tregar, and it goes over the line out of play. 40 points the margin. Xavs have the lead. 6-7-43. Their score, Collegians 3 behind, 3 points. They've never been in it ever since that first bounce went awry. And we await the ball to come back on the outer side of the ground. So the only multiple goal kicker so far for Xavs is Brosnahan with 2. And centre wing is the target. We'll wait for the boundary umpire to throw the ball back in. Bowes and Woodhouse to go at it. Woodhouse front berth, got a hand onto that one, roved it well again, then brought to ground. No, he stood up in the tackle. Handball found Stavro, who got it back to Brosnahan, who got it back to Stavro into the middle of the ground though. Bad kicker, Nelson chopped it off here for Collegians. He goes out wider here. Fennelly put his body on the line there, couldn't complete the mark. Mayhood on hands and knees, got the handball out here to Lane, who goes wider here towards Fisher. Xavs have the footy up towards centre wing, fished away from Westcott. Van Twest over the boundary line, and we'll have a ball in. Oh, free kick. Okay, so free kick there going Westcott's way. Xavs go inside the 45-metre arc. Umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball this one up.
Gents, Tommy McRae, he's in a real bad way there. He's just limping around with a big impact behind the ball before. I think it might have been with McCleary, but he's not in a good way there. Might get Harrow to have a look at that one.
Thrown in the air. Woodhouse won that one down. Missed kick there, Mayhood. It goes back inside 45 here for Xavs. May open the door, no. Kicked away. Van Twest goes out towards McCleary. Bouncing ball in front of everybody. Putris allowed McCleary in. McCleary's handball went to nobody. Tregar crashed his way through, went to ground. Umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball this one up.
Harrison McIlwaine has just had a little poke around for Sport Victoria on the Old Xaverians bench. How's Tommy McRae looking?
Yeah, it's an ankle complaint, fella, so he's just getting assessed by the trainers at the moment, but it didn't look good.
Sport Victoria, thank you, Harrison McIlwaine. Thrown up centre wing, far side of the ground. Warren is taken down there by Westcott, and we'll get another stoppage. 43 playing 3, 40-point leaders the Old Xaverians. Collegians yet to score a goal. We've gone nearly 17 minutes of this second term thanks to Bowens. Along the boundary line, Boucher fighting as well with Stovey. Stavro has the footy. He wants the boundary and gets it. So it'll be thrown in alongside the cricket nets here at Toorak Park, calling the action on VAFA.com.au, where we're streaming live with video, so you can hear the commentary and watch the game, or alternatively, if you're doing something outside on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, you can listen to us on the SEN app or on sen.com.au. Woodhouse just wins it down from the throw-in to Simeopoulos, who danced his way through. Eventually was caught, though, holding the ball, going the way of Stobie there for Collegians. The player out of Mafra joins Collegians this year, formerly of Gippsland Power as well. The 18-year-old kicks it long towards between wing and half forward where the ball goes over and out for another throw in. So Hugo, Collegians yet to score a goal. Where can you see one coming from at this stage for the Lions?
They need to get better around the middle of the ground. They need to get a little bit more defensive. There's just too much free ball for Xavs. Too much run and carry. There's always a free player. There's always a loose one. Need to get the ball in their hands.
Nearly 17 and a half gone in this second term, and a very low scoring quarter, that is for sure. 1-2 to Xavs and only 2 behinds to Collegians. Very low scoring second term as far as Xavs are concerned anyway. Here's Van Twist out of that. Handball found Andrew, who goes towards Lukic. And he put out the long arms and he reeled that one into the right forward pocket.
So Big Luke's got a chance to get a goal on the board before half-time, which they would be desperate for. But that was a very good mark there, very good mark.
Yeah, good kick, Andrew. Found him, and now he goes back underneath the scoreboard. So Collegians' leading goal kicker of the season. He's kicked 19 so far for the year. He has been a target up forward. I know we've played, 8 games? He's only kicked 19, but at least he's put scores on the board. Deep in the right forward pocket, plenty of daylight, no breeze, apartment end of the ground kick.
Beautiful.
So that's their first goal of the afternoon. And it's taken to about the 18-minute mark of the second term. But Lukic kicks there first. They go on a 1-3-9, trailing Xavs on a 6-7-43. 1-3-9 to 6-7-43. That goal kicked at the 18.5-minute mark of the second term. And Lukic kicks his first of the afternoon.
So on the back of it, as you said, an elite entry there. And he was in 2-on-1, so that was a very good mark. But it was to his advantage too. It wasn't a bomb on the head, so that's what they need more of, kicking to advantage. They just need to play with a bit of confidence too. They're very shell-shocked, and they've gone back into their shells, but maybe they can come out of it now.
Marshall White out of the ruck by 27 points at Brighton Beach Oval over D-Lar. The University Blues by a point at Camberwell Sports Ground over Old Scotch. Successive stoppages in the middle of the ground. Spralia won it down. There's space on the outside here for Nelson, who's typically a good user. Kicks it on the bounce to Stobie, who takes it on the second time of asking. Pursued by Fennelly, went backwards and now in the hands of Howard, the debutant today. He's played 30 reserves games before getting his senior debut, 7 of those this year. Wants to go sideways, so Collegians slow, moving it all the way up. This is probably the pace they need to play at just to get some confidence with their use of the footy. Now comes the kick, just a shallow entry though, inside 50. Lukic caught behind. Ralph 2 hands to it, couldn't bring it down. Ran past Nelson, Futris on his hammer. Ralph still going. Nelson corrals him, he handballed it backwards looking for Tuddenham and found the boundary line 55 metres out from the defensive goal. So 34-point leaders, the Old Xaverians, and we're into time on now. In this second term, that's all thanks to Bowens, the builder's choice, bowens.com.au.
So Sam Fisher's just come off holding his knee there, Harrison, right in front of you, mate.
Time down at the Xavs bench. McRae looks to be coming back on. He's had his left ankle strapped and did a bit of a mobility test. But yeah, just as he's getting ready to, I think, put the boot back on, you're right, Sam Fisher's come hobbling to the bench with his right knee.
So while all that was taking place, Fennelly ended up with it here for Xavs. In defence, goes out wider here with a kick. And it goes over the line out of play. We'll have a ball in.
The other scores around the competition for Marshall White. Old Haileybury 48 leading St Bernard's 34 at Princess Park in South Caulfield. St Kevin's 28 leading the University Blacks 24 at the Melbourne University Oval.
So right in front of the pavilion, just inside the 45-metre arc. Ball thrown back in. Lukic went it with Sprayer. Goes towards the boundary line, but Davey who sees it over. And we'll have another ball in right in front of us here. 6-7-43 Xavs. 1-3-9 Collegians. We've gone 21 minutes in this second term. Ball thrown back in. McGuinness, Sprayer, both go at it. Now Boucher ends up with it. Handball Stobie. He dropped it, got it back again. Then somehow, can they keep possession? Stavrou there for Xavs. Won't allow that to happen, and we'll have another ball up.
Collegians look very fumbly. It's almost like they don't want to make a mistake, and not wanting to make a mistake, they're making mistakes.
McGuinness takes it out of the ruck. Spralia wraps him up again. We haven't moved too far at all. So right in front of the Old Xaverians bench, Sam Fisher walking up and down the boundary line, looking just a touch proppy. Hopefully nothing too serious. Guiney chases it after it. Wanted to find it, looked like Tregar, who was seeking a high contact free kick, nothing forthcoming from the umpire, so we'll have it thrown in again.
Well, this is good by Collegians because they could have easily lost that ball and it gets brought forward by the Xavs, so they need to win this clearance and try and get the ball forward.
8 points apiece this quarter after the Old Xaverians led by 34 points at quarter time. Into the hands of Carroll, went backwards, put his man Van Twest under pressure. His kick went 20 metres, taken by O'Sullivan. Handball for Hamish McIsaac, who fell over. Stobie inside 50.
Oh,
on
get
the
in,
outside
get
right
in!
boot. Might come back to the left-hand side. It took an errant bounce as far as the Collegians fans are concerned, and through for a behind. Fennelly takes it away quickly and kicks it out very wide into the hands of Campbell Lane.
He needed the leg break there, didn't he? Just a little bounce the other way.
Well, he knew exactly what to do, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's exactly the way he wanted it to pan out, but it never did. Here's Hamish McIsaac, and still inside defensive 45.
Good.
Xavs work it out. Pitch back into the pack. Handball found Davey. High tackle laid on him. No. Phipps Parsons was the tackler. I thought it was a little high, but the umpire said no. Bring it back. And Phipps Parsons to take the free kick here for Xavs in the centre square. So back end of the centre square. Toorak Park bathed in sunshine here today. Goes out to Hart, who got it off here to Lane. Straight away had a bounce, goes towards centre wing with a kick. Up towards Sprayer, who wanted Stavru, but he went past too quickly for him, so Sprayer's got it now. He goes long with the kick down towards half forward. Markley taken by Guiney. It fell to ground. Players going everywhere. Ball on the deck. And the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up in front of goal. So in front of Xavs goal at the High Street end of the ground. The umpire about to throw it in the air. There it goes. McGuinness gets there, goes towards the boundary line. Nelson a handball back to Boucher, who just banged it on his boot, goes over the line out of play. And the umpire says...
Yeah, free kick. He's paid insufficient attempt there.
What's the intent of the players chasing the football then? What's their intent?
It's a tough one. It is a tough one.
Well, what's their intent? Is their intent, both players, to let that ball go out? What's their intent? Ball goes back towards centre half forward or full forward, nearly a kick off the ground there. Boucher, handball to Davey, who got a... Oh, now Fisher back on the ground, left foot kick around the body, goes over the line out of play, will have a ball in.
For Author Sport Victoria, Sam Fisher back out there, but I don't think the news is going to be good for Tommy McRae. I just watched him try and do a little bit of a run through. He got 2 steps in and then shook his head, no good. So that might be his day done. We'll get to Harrison McIlwaine in a few minutes' time. Simon Petch with
there's another one down out there.
Yeah, Boucher's down too. So he's feeling the effects of something as the ball's thrown back in. High Street end of the ground. Back in it comes. Woodhouse got it down. Guiney, a miss kick really. Collegians try to clear defence. They do that. Fist away towards the boundary line by Andrew. It goes over. Tregas made sure of that. And we'll have a ball in out of sight of the ground.
So the boundary umpire, he stands at the meeting point of the boundary line in the 50-metre arc here for the Old Xaverians in their attacking part of the ground. Lead this one by 34 points. Have done so from the get-go. Here's Lane. He's dispossessed. That's a good tackle. The umpire waved play on. Stavro now with the footy and stepped out of play. So we'll get another stoppage.
Do you think Campbell Lane was lucky there with that one?
I think he may have been.
Yes.
He did seem to get away. It was from Bear Mayhood at the first time of asking. The Bear wasn't to be denied and got him again, but man in green wave play on, all fair. Thrown back into play. Australia from behind over McGuinness, tried to win it down. Campbell Lane again at ground level, flicked out the handball to Stavro. Still in tight, got rid of one tackler, kick to the inside. It was a weird-looking punt that into the hands of Ralph. Now Tregar to Spralia at the arc of 50. Kicks to the top of the goal square. Bealby with the fist. O'Sullivan with the rove. Tackled as he kicked. The ball went high. And it went out of bounds on the full, perhaps. The boundary umpire might confer here with the field umpire as to where that one landed. So we'll have a conference between the men in green. Looked from my eye that one went the wrong side of the behind post, and that's what the umpires think as well. Out of bounds on the full, Collegians take it from the right back pocket.
So a long way from home. We've gone just on 26 and a half in this second term. And the margin is 34 points.
There's a push there.
And a free kick going Collegians' way. centre wing out of sight of
Much
the
better.
ground. Nelson, a handball. He heard the running call. Gave the handball. Kick inside towards the right forward pocket. Stobie up from behind. Went the spoil over Hamish McIsaac. And will have a ball in.
That was much better by Collegians there. A little bit of overlap run, not trying to play that slow game. And down, look, it's gone from end to end, and it's a ball up in their forward pocket. So they're a chance here. So I'm telling you, they're a chance, Petsy.
So dying stages, Hugo, of this second quarter. 27 and a half gone in it. Collegians only goal through Lukic earlier in this quarter for the game so far. Sprayer got it down. Mayhood into goal. Has missed. And only a minor score, taking Collegians on to 1-4-10, trailing Xavs on 6-7-43 for Bowens, 27 and a half played in this second quarter.
So Tuddenham will do the kick-in duties. 15 and a half disposals a game for him this year, usually playing in the forward half, finds Campbell Lane left back pocket. Just had a change to the scoreboard. 1-5-11 Collegians to 6-7-43 Old Xaverians. So it's 32 points here at Toorak Park. Down the line, Sprayer and McGuinness. It's the Xavs man who wins the day. Got it to Dunn. Now he'll try and handball in the direction of Knott, who is under pressure. Campbell Lane's after it. Tight ropes the boundary line. On the left peg, that's a beautiful kick to Woodhouse. Found him in a pocket of space. Attacking side of the wing. He's 2 kicks from home, Woodhouse. Goes onto that left boot, drives it into the pocket. Davey gets a fist to it before Phipps passes could come up to meet the Sharon. And it will be thrown in the left forward pocket for the Old Xaverians.
I guess if there's a win in this quarter for Collegians, they've kept Xavs to 1 goal too.
I was going to say that, Petch, because it's not a huge margin. It's considering how dominant Xavs have been. So that's, you know, it's a little win. You've got
It's
to
a
take
little
them.
win for them. Yeah.
They've won the quarter here, Collegians, so far, which is a bizarre thing to be talking about when they're down by 32 points. Down to Harrison McIlwaine in a few moments' time as this ball is thrown back in. Davey to Bear Mayhood at centre half back. Flicks the handball over the top and they'll work it out. Thomas on the end of it. Charges away. Ralph's on his hammer. Thomas keeps going. Kicks it inside 50. Lukic is going to have to get in his bike. It's sat nicely for him. He turns to the inside. Snaps on his right boot. The best bit of play you'll see all day from Collegians. They go the length of the ground, and it's their talismanic key forward, Alex Lukic, who snaps it through for his second and his club's second. And 2-5-17 now, Collegians, trailing the Old Xaverians 6-7-43. But just making some nice inroads, Hugo. Before we get to you, let's get down to Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary for us.
Thanks, Paddy. The Xavs bench are pretty incensed with the treatment of Charlie McIsaac in the forward line, deeming him to be held, and that incense only went further after seeing Collegians go the length of the field to score a goal the other way. So yeah, some pretty unhappy men down on the Xavs bench.
Thanks for that, Harrison. Hugo, your thoughts?
That was a great overlap piece of play, and that's the formula. That's what they need to do. Move the ball fast. But that was an excellent kick forward by Thomas. He just put it to the advantage side of Big Lukic, and he got free, and he's playing with some fire in the belly today too. We love it.
30 minutes gone in this second term. Collegians have won the quarter. They're not in front of the scoreboard, but they've certainly kept Xavs to a low score in this second term as they opened up very quickly. Here's Woodhouse from that kick. He goes, there's the siren anyway before Knott could handball. So that's half time down here at Toorak Park. That quarter going 30 and a half minutes, and Xavs go in. 6-7-43, leading Collegians on 2-5-17.
So the goal scorers here at Toorak Park for the Old Xaverians. Brosnahan with a pair and singles for Westcott, Lane, Charlie McIsaac and Woodhouse. Alex Lukic has both of the Collegians' goals today. He's got 2, they've got 2. 2-5-17 Collegians, 6-7-43 the Old Xaverians. Hugo Higginbotham, your thoughts before we take a break?
Well, you know, Xavs are very, very dominant early, but probably didn't get the reward on the scoreboard. So 6-7, that's, you know, a good amount of scoring shots. But Collegians, I think they start to see the formula there. When they go slow and they go lateral and linear up the line, it just doesn't work for them. And they're also looking a bit nervous. But now you get the monkeys off the back, kicked a couple of goals. Hey, halfway through that quarter, it was looking like a goalless half for them, which is unheard of. But, you know, a couple of good players getting involved as well. Every time Thomas is around the ball, something happens. And Lukic too, he's fire in the belly, he's wrestling on the ground, and he's such a nice guy too. I love that.
He is a very nice
guy. Alter ego.
It's a 26-point lead for the Old Xaverians at home. More after this.
VAFA Action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food. Because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
The Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Star Award recognises the competition's most talented young players. Each week, the VAFA Rising Star Committee receives nominations for one male and one female player aged 20 years or under who played no more than 7 senior games before this season. Our overall season winners will be declared the Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Stars for 2025. So, if your club has a young gun making their mark, nominate them now at media@vafa.com.au.
Tickets are now on sale for the VAFA's 2025 Big V Gala Dinner presented by City Power. It's a landmark event, the largest function the VAFA has ever staged, and it's celebrating 100 years of Big V representative football. This historic evening will serve as the official opening to the Rep Football Weekend, offering a unique opportunity to honour the legacy of the Big V and its enduring significance within the VAFA community. The Big V Gala Dinner will bring together past players, coaches, club representatives and supporters to reflect on a century of tradition, achievement and pride. The evening promises to be one of the most significant in the VAFA's history. You don't want to miss it. It's at Centrepiece at Melbourne Park, Thursday the 10th of July 2025. Tickets now on sale at vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
Is your club celebrating a player milestone? Let us know at VAFA Media and we'll feature it in the Amateur Footballer. We're always on the lookout for stories that acknowledge outstanding achievements and the clubs behind them. Email us at media@vafa.com.au.
VAFA Action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Half-time at Toorak Park, the Old Xaverians 6-7-43, Collegians 2-5-17. It was the Old Xavs by 34 points at the first break before Collegians kicked 2-1 in the second term, just to bring back that margin to, I think, within a bit of anxiety, I think, for the Old Xavs faithful here at Toorak Park. We'll first go around the grounds for Marshall White for the other results around William Buck Premier. At Brighton Beach Oval, Old Brighton's made a move on D-Lar. They're 12-9-81, D-Lar 5-4-34. That one's 22 minutes into the third quarter, of course, starting at 2 p.m. with the other games across the slate today. So the Tunners on their merry way, they look like a team destined to go to the first of our buys this season, or second of our buys, I should say, undefeated. Old Scotch 7-8-50 lead the University Blues 7-2-44. That one's 14 minutes gone in the third term at Camberwell Sports Ground. So a live contest there on the VAFA website where you can watch that one in full. Also streaming on the VAFA website is Old Haileybury and St Bernard's. It's the Bloods 8-6-54 leading St Bernard's 6-4-40. 14-point margin there for Daniel Ward's team. And the Melbourne University Oval, the University Blacks leading St Kevin's 5-6-36 to 5-4-34. 12 minutes gone, third term action there. We'll be keeping you across all those results as the game continues today at Toorak Park. As we mentioned, the score 6-7-43 Old Xaverians, 2-5-17 Collegians. This is our halftime show, and it's a real pleasure to welcome the president of the Old Xaverians Footy Club, Matty Cosgrove, to the commentary box. And Matty, I want to talk to you a fair bit about today's game. I want to talk to you a fair bit about the wonderful pavilion that you've set up. But
I think we should start on a pretty exciting half of footy for your team, considering where you were at this time last week when we last spoke to you.
Yes, I know. Twice in 2 weeks. Jeez.
Aren't we lucky?
Poor listeners. No, a much better start this week. And we've started slowly all year, so it was nice to get out of the blocks in the first quarter and probably didn't get the reward for the amount of footy we had, but nice to be up by a little bit at half-time.
So 6 goals in that second half, first half rather, 5 of them kicked in the first quarter.
Yep.
So on top to start. How do you think the game has perhaps changed across that second term?
Oh, look, I think we were pretty dominant from the amount of disposal. I think we doubled the amount of disposal in the first quarter. But I think Collegians got their hands on the footy a little bit more in that quarter. It was a bit more even. It was a little bit more scrappy, and I think both teams probably made a few mistakes. But regardless, yeah, nice to be up a couple of goals.
If you're recording disposals, can you shed any light on how many Campbell Lane has had? Because we've been counting him up into the high 20s.
Premier Data doesn't do a player live stats. We're looking into that, but
good.
If we can do that, I'll let you know.
He's on fire. That's the benefit, I think, of joining us, Hugo, in the pre-game, is that you're destined for a good game.
It's his last game before he goes away for a month.
Is it?
So, yeah, he's ducking off over Italy. So,
Tullamarine flu.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
As they do.
I can't crack down too much because I'm jumping on a plane on Friday as well. So.
Meeting over there.
Going with it. Let's talk a little bit about this pavilion that we sit in. So last time I called at this ground, we were over to our right-hand side.
A bit grim.
Underneath the I don't know if you can call it seating, but the sort of semi-sort of pavilion. The bleachers. Let's say the bleachers. Which was a reasonable place to call footy from. You're on the wing, but certainly different to the palatial setting that we've got for us today. Just how much work got into getting this ground up and ready for the start of the season?
Oh, it's a lot of work from probably for the better part of 15 years, to be frank, by a lot of people. I think this is a great example of what can be achieved when this is probably one of the most used grounds in Victoria. Yep. It's used every day, but and then we've got Paran cricket here in the summer. Obviously Paran in the AMO, the senior team, and then the juniors as well. So I think it's a good example of what can be achieved when everyone works together for a common goal. And I think the final product's been pretty impressive. We're lucky to I think probably have some of the best facilities in Victoria.
I would have to agree with that. It's a fantastic place to watch footy from. We've got the behind the glass commentary box, which is how you sell me on anything. You talk about this being the work of probably up to, I'd imagine, like a couple of decades. Who are some key members of this footy club, or this, I suppose, this group of sorts that have got this ground up and about and this pavilion up and about that you can shout out for us today?
Well, I mean, our footy club moved to Toorak Park in 1995, and I think anybody who follows the Amos knows 95 was a pretty critical year in the history of our footy club, and our footy club pretty much turned around, from that point. I mean, we won 6 flags from that little period onwards. So coming to Toorak Park's been a real pivotal thing for the growth of our club, and I think hopefully this can be the next phase of that. But Anthony Ongarello and Robbie Ralph, who was president for 14 years, was a big part in getting us here. And then, all Simon Hunt, the current day committee have all done a huge amount of work in bringing this all together. But as I said, it's a lot of work from a lot of bodies and a lot of sporting clubs and to make this happen. So it was a really pleasing finished product for the amount of work that went into it.
Now, Matt, you mentioned 95. I know 96 is a big year because the current coach played in that flag in 96.
Yes, he did.
So it's good to have him back. How's that all going here? You and him, you have to deal with a lot of stuff. The outside noise. How's the outside noise going? Expectation, because past players and supporters alike.
Oh, look, it's been an interesting couple of years for the footy club. We came out of COVID. We're playing some really good footy in 21 and then, got shafted by Dan Andrews. Then obviously... Yeah, exactly. And then, obviously not having a home for 2 years pretty much out of COVID. So it's been a really disconnected few years. So coming back here, and I think you can see the amount of people here, and this is probably a quiet day, to be frank, from what we've had this year. It's been great to have so many people back at the footy club, and I think whilst we haven't had the success necessarily at the top level we'd want recently, there's a really good feeling around the footy club, and I think people know we're building towards something.
Certainly are. Second on the ladder. Great performance out there. Marked turnaround from game style from last week, so that's what Nutsy's very good at, obviously, reading the game. And
he's a fantastic coach. I mean, his record speaks for itself. When we were wooing him to come across, I locked him in a private room at Choi's in Hawthorn, and he goes, "Geez, there's a lot of food coming out." I said, "There's going to keep coming out until you say yes." So he was the man we wanted to get, and he's I think he's got the boys in a really good spot.
And it's your best start to a season since that 2021, the ill-fated year. You haven't won a final since 2016. I was looking at your team list, and the only man who was out there for your last winning final.
Did Joey give you this question to ask? He keeps banging on about that.
He'd be quiet at the moment.
He would have been dozing through this interview until this question, our man Joey. Big cheerio to him if he's listening. Dennis Simiopoulos is the man who played in that 2016 grand final, who's your only, I suppose, link to that success. Of course, he retired and then came back. How long is he going to hold on for, do you think, now that he's resumed his footy career for your
club? I'll tell you what, he's played some pretty good footy this year. And just looking at him, he's probably as fit as ever. But like anyone, life changes. He got married a couple of years ago and probably then realised that marriage isn't all it cracked up to be and came back and kept playing. But look, he's too young to be retiring anyway. He's still got plenty of footy left in him, and I reckon hopefully he's got a few good years left in him.
And with the additions in the last couple of years, I looked to Sam Fisher, who won the Woodrow last year out of WA. I looked to Campbell Lane, who's come back now full-time. He's a few others. Tommy McRae's another one who's playing for you full-time. It feels like you're really well prepared for a tilt at the premiership. With this strong start to the season, what's important for you to keep this run going? How are you going to be able to do it from your perspective and then all the way down through the club?
Look, I think one thing that our footy club doesn't lack is depth, and it's probably this little part of the year we're about to go into is usually a part of the year that we tend to thrive in. We do have probably better depth than most. So yes, we've got a few going away, but every club has that, and hopefully that can serve us well. But look, I think we've got a really good mix at the moment, a young group. It's a couple of experienced heads. I'll give you a little exclusive. I think hopefully there'll be a very experienced head after the bye coming in.
I think I know which one. I think I know. Start with an H?
No.
No? Okay.
I reckon it might start with a J.
Yeah, it does.
And a K.
Anyway, hopefully. But, we've got a really good group. And look, there is probably as connected a group as I've said. I've been involved for the last 17-odd years and the last 8 as president. But I think there is as connected a group I've seen in a while. So, fingers crossed they can keep playing some good footy.
Well, Matty, good luck for the rest of the afternoon. Thanks so much for your time.
No worries at all.
I'm looking forward to catching up across the course of the year.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Matty Cosgrove, the president of the Old Xaverians Footy Club. The second half on the other side of this.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food. Because who said fast food had to be fast food? Love ya.
The Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Star Award recognises the competition's most talented young players. Each week, the VAFA Rising Star Committee receives nominations for one male and one female player aged 20 years or under who played no more than 7 senior games before this season. Our overall season winners will be declared the Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Stars for 2025. So, if your club has a young gun making their mark, nominate them now at media@vafa.com.au.
Tickets are now on sale for the VAFA's 2025 Big V Gala Dinner presented by City Power. It's a landmark event, the largest function the VAFA has ever staged, and it's celebrating 100 years of Big V representative football. This historic evening will serve as the official opening to the Rep Football Weekend, offering a unique opportunity to honour the legacy of the Big V and its enduring significance within the VAFA community. The Big V Gala Dinner will bring together past players, coaches, club representatives and supporters to reflect on a century of tradition, achievement and pride. The evening promises to be one of the most significant in the VAFA's history. You don't want to miss it. It's at Centrepiece at Melbourne Park, Thursday the 10th of July 2025. Tickets now on sale at vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
Is your club celebrating a player milestone? Let us know at VAFA Media and we'll feature it in the Amateur Footballer. We're always on the lookout for stories that acknowledge outstanding achievements and the clubs behind them. Email us at media@vafa.com.au.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
43 playing 17 at half-time here at Toorak Park. The Old Xaverians have led this one pretty much wire to wire, but Collegians making a little bit of a rumble in the latter stages of that second term. 6-7-43 the Old Xaverians, 2-5-17 Collegians, 26-point leaders. The red and black down to Harrison McIlwaine, who's on the boundary for us today. Any tidbits out of the halftime addresses, Harrison?
Thanks, Paddy. Yeah, for Collegians, Geordie McKenzie is really pleased with the way they wrestled back in the contest in that second quarter. Big focus from here on taking away uncontested marks. They still think they're giving up a few too many of those. He wants to win the third quarter, whether it be by a point or a few goals, just to keep themselves in the contest and then reassess at three-quarter time. And on the Xavs side of the account, they want to tighten up around the clearance because Dan Donati said they were smashed in that second quarter. Their execution was poor, he said, and I do have confirmation that McRae is out with his left ankle on ice.
Thanks for that, Harrow. Bad news for Tommy McRae, done for the day, that left ankle injury. We saw him, Hugo and Petch, warming that one up along the boundary side, but didn't look too good at all, and it was over pretty quickly after that. So he's done for the day. The Xavs will battle the rest of this one without their number 23. Something interesting I took from that, from Harrow, Hugo, was that the Xavs are racking up the uncontested grabs again. They're actually second in the comp, 4 marks, Collegians second last. So that's a key difference between the two squads.
Well, if you think about that, we look at the way they move the ball and they love that lateral movement. They have that good umbrella set up around the back line and then they transition out the other side. Very rarely do they kick longer than 30 metres realistically to a player who is unattended. And I know Petchy's picked up on a few of those.
The third quarter will be for Honan Capital, and we're just a few moments away from a start here. The Old Xaverians by 26 points. Let's go briefly around the grounds for Marshall White. It's Old Brighton leading by 66 points over D-Lar at Brighton Beach Oval. Old Haileybury by 26 points over St Bernard's in South Caulfield. St Kevin's by 7 points over the University Blacks at the Melbourne Uni Oval. And it's Old Scotch trailing the University Blues by 18 points at Camberwell Sports Ground.
So for Honan Capital, third quarter underway here. Xavs go in 43 to Collegians 17. And straight away out of the middle, Xavs go forward. Fished away by Perry, nearly outside 45. Found Knott, who goes back with the handball, then gets it back again. Goes inside 45 to Westcott. Couldn't complete the marks, but Fisher's got it. Goes into goal and kicked it. So in the first 26 seconds of the third quarter, Fisher, for Xavs, kicks their 7th goal of the afternoon. They go on to 7-7-49, leading Collegians 2-5-17, and Fisher kicks his first goal of the afternoon.
Well, Donati said he wanted to improve the clearance work. You can't do much more than that. Win the first clearance, kick the first goal. Collegians defended really well there, but just the class of Fisher there.
He found the right space to run into. Yep. That was the key. He knew where he was going. He knew where the goals were, and he put it straight onto his boot. 49 playing 17. First minute of this third term is underway. Fisher kicks his first of the afternoon.
Joins a growing list of goal kickers, and he's got the footy again in the middle of the ground. Anderson tackled him off the handball, not before he got it to Stavro, who kicks the back inside 50. That's clinical stuff. And Charlie, who is just threatened throughout this game to have a really big 5 or 10 minutes to stamp his name on the contest, can go back for a chance at his second.
Henry Anderson from Collegians had a hold of Fisher there, just couldn't wrap the tackle up. Fisher kept the arms out beautifully, just waited, and of course, who was coming past? His partner in crime, Stavro, and an electric bullet pass.
It was,
absolute bullet. Into the contender, the great contender.
We mentioned during the week, Hugo, that the Xavs are pretty small in their forward line. They don't have to be big with delivery like that. McIsaac on the runway, no issues for Charlie, who's got a couple. And 8-7-55 now, the Old Xaverians. Collegians still 2-5-17. It's been Fisher and McIsaac to start this second half. We're 2 minutes down, all for Honan Capital. And the Old Xaverians have just taken the game away again, Hugo.
They certainly did. I mean, Collegians probably coming out after half-time thinking, it wasn't a bad quarter, let's build on that. Well, lost the first 2 clearances and resulted in 2 goals in 2 minutes 29 gone.
So Xavs kicked 1 goal in that second term. For the whole 30 minutes, they've kicked 2 goals in a couple of minutes in this third term. Here's Stavru out of the middle. Nearly gave the handball, now did. Stobie there was dispossessed. Phipps Parsons tried to kick. Now Mayhood lost it in the traffic. Stobie ends up with it inside the centre square and gives it back to the umpire, who will throw it in the air. So towards the Collegians goal, the high street end of Toorak Park. Rove there by Dunn, given a sprayer, nearly dropped it. Umpire said play on. Stavru's got it, brought to ground by Mayhood. No, he stood up against Stavru. Handball Semiopolis, handball Phipps Parsons, goes to centre half forward. Isaac again takes a diving mark near his bootlaces.
It's 3 times now, Hugo and Petchy, where Marcus Stavro has stood up in the tackle and they just cannot get him down. They can't stop the handball from popping out either.
Now also, too, they've got a really good overlap run, and they back him in to keep winning that, and they get out to space.
And that's the way to keep the ball going forward, is to stand up in a tackle, not fall over. And that's what Stavru's done all of the afternoon.
Geez, McIsaac's playing like a driven man. What do you reckon is driving him so deeply there, Paddy? You think it's a lost image, lost video somewhere? There's something in there.
Drop punt, full forward, the target
There it
goes
is.
all of the way. And he's kicked another one, has he? Yes. Goal umpire said yes. McIsaac's kicked his 3rd of the afternoon. He's the leading goal kicker for Xavs so far today. He's kicked 3, and Xavs have now kicked 9. They go on a 9-7-61. Leading Collegians 2-5-17. For Hannon Capital, we've gone 4 minutes in this third term. And in 4 minutes, Xavs have kicked 3 goals.
And it's out to a 44-point lead, too. It's not a bad effort in that short period of time.
Yeah, biggest largest lead of the day so far, Petchy and Hugo.
Percentage boosting is what they want to look at here. Take Collegians and just take them for everything.
Oh, it's still going. Australia, Stavru, Semiopolis, all the big movers involved, and Mayhood is down. And back play as well. The kick inside 50. Woodhouse this time slides to it.
Kick it on Charlie's head.
He wants it. He's got the one on Bilby. Big Will Mayhood is clutching it. It looks like the right hamstring, and he is in all sorts in the centre of Toorak Park, and now a trainer to him who is helping him off, and he looks terrible,
That doesn't
Mayhood.
look good.
That's a shocking sign for the big bear, the big number 2, who had so much to their midfield depth. Meanwhile, we're with Woodhouse. Hayden's on his way in, left footer from the arc of 50 at right half forward. Got it to come back, but came back too much. The Old Xaverians moved to 9-8-62. Collegians 2-5-17. The Xavs with 3 early goals to kill this contest. And Hugo Mayhood still being helped off the ground very slowly indeed. He can't put weight on that right leg.
So ball kicked back in. As we saw in the first quarter, it's all Xavs down to the apartment complex end of the ground. Thomas kept it in, then kicked it straight to Semiopolis, who was in his way really. Semiopolis danced around, got the handball to Stavru. 5:45 out from goal, kicks another one, will he? No, he just missed to the right. So a minor score there to Stavru and Xavs. They go on a 9-10. Or 9-9-63. Collegians 2-5-17 for Honan Capital. We've gone just on 6 minutes in this third term.
Just need to possess the footy here, Collegians. Davey at right half back took the mark right on the boundary line, and his options have dried up. So he'll kick it towards us. Once Bilby has to place the kick perfectly, and did so. Bilby holds on between wing and half back for Collegians. 9-9-63 to 2-5-17 for Honan Capital.
Oh my
That's
God.
not a great kick. He's kicked it straight to Woodhouse, who it was a treat really. It landed on his chest at centre half forward, spreads it to Lane. They've got numbers streaking forward, not at the arc of 50. Doesn't look like he's confident with the distance. Lane is calling for it. That kick's not travelled the required 15 metres, so Lane just works his way out of the tackle, kicks to full forward, came the way of Woodhouse at ground level. McIsaac wants it back. Now he's got a chucky. He snaps on the right boot. It was touched and through. through for another behind. The Old Xavs to 9-10-64 now. We just about can't keep up with the onslaught here, Hugo.
It's busy. But I do not understand why... Who was it? Which one? Yeah, kick over here before. I don't know, it doesn't matter. He had an inside 45. Bilby's kick. He had an inside 45 that he gave away.
Well, there's another one. He's given it straight to Guiney, who goes towards Sullivan, and he takes the mark. So 2 kicks in a row here from Bilby. He's a lot better than that.
Yep.
And he's just given it straight up.
And sometimes that can be perceived pressure or pressure in your head that you don't want to make a mistake and you're that worried about it. That, well, of course, you're going to make a mistake. But I still don't understand why he didn't pull that first kick off to Boucher. Boucher was furious about that as well.
So Sullivan to the Pavilion Complex end of the ground here. Bathed in sunshine, Toorak Park today. Terrific day for high scoring. Sullivan 50 out from goal. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, all right. Have a look at him go to him. So O'Sullivan kicks that. That is his first of the afternoon. They keep racking up these goal kickers, and that's their 10th of the afternoon. They've kicked 4 goals in around 6 minutes or 8 minutes. 4 goals in 8 minutes. They go on a 10-9-69, Xavs. Collegians on 2-5-17 for Honan Capital. 8 minutes gone in this third quarter, and that is their 4th goal in 8 minutes, Xavs.
And it's just all Xavs at the moment too. They are lining up for goals at the moment, but they're using the ball really well. And on the contrary, Collegians are just panicking and then missing easy ones and trying to take the hardest one. Take the easiest one first. Get the ball moving like they did when they were going okay.
So Nelson, Anderson, Pinchback in there for Collegians. They just can't get the hands on the football. It's again these Xavs with the clearance. It wasn't a very long kick. Boucher went up for the mark and was maybe held on to. So they will now get some possession. The advantage though taken by the Lions. It's a blind kick inside 50. Hart reached up for it. Taken by Bowes. He's got a runner coming through. It's Braden Fleming, and that needs to go through, and it does. So Braden, a much-needed major for Collegians, who've been shell-shocked really out of the break. He breaks a run of 4 consecutive Old Xavs goals with a nice running one through centre-half forward. Collegians 3-5-23. Old Xaverians 10-9-69.
It's a great goal because they moved the ball fast. They didn't go back behind the mark there, used the advantage, got it out in front of players, and a little bit of overlap run. So if they can move the ball away from congestion, I mean, if you only got a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-2 instead of 14-on-14 sort of situation, it makes it much easier to maintain possession and then get a good shot on goal. 2
out of their 3 goals have come from run-ons like that. Here's Fisher out of the middle. Handball into Sprayer, got it to Stavrou. Well, he had to get around traffic, did that easily. Got it out wider here and nearly the mark to Phipps Parsons. He trapped it okay. 50 out from goal, Guiney. He goes in towards centre-half forward. No mark taken. Came down to Sullivan. He's brought to ground. Good tackle laid on him. Umpire says, give it a me, old ball and up.
What about that handball out from Fisher in the middle of the ground when he was just wrapped up in a tackle and then, you know...
Not a problem, it's just strength, isn't it?
And
strength and know-how. Out of the congestion is a chance here again. Sullivan. Out of bounds on the full. No score. Xavs 10-9-69. Collegians 3-5-23. 10.5 gone in this third term for Honan Capital at Toorak Park.
Also Sport Victoria, the report from the boundary line, and Harrison McIlwaine. Will Mayhood, hamstring on ice, day is done, and you'd think a couple of weeks as well. Terrible news for the big bear, who's fought injury over the last couple of years. Gavy's given it away. This might be another one for the Xavs. No. The kick on goal is a little bit narrow, so Woodhouse can't convert.
Gee, they missed easy ones. They should just about be 15 goals here.
Yeah, a bit of a let-off there.
Yeah, there's a few let-offs, really.
So it's 47 points, 70 playing 23 for Honan Capital. All the Old Xaverians. It's coming back again. A kick to a 2-on-1. Ralph takes the mark. A free kick, though, going the way of Lukic, who was held on to. So big Alex, who has 2 goals from not much supply today, wants Bowes, who takes a good grab. The right Hugo in front of Hart, who went for the body spoil. Bowes was strong enough to hold on. East centre wing, broadcast side, kicks it out of bounds on the full as he went towards half forward in the Collegians bench.
I was just going to say, when Bowes hold it up then, it's just exactly what Xavs wants. They get set up behind the ball. They've got amazing press behind the ball, and that's just not the formula. But we're not seeing any run from behind. No one getting around the back for their hands, try and run and carry, break through. There is space out there. There's grass to be taken, but they're just not taking it.
There's a heap of space. This is a big enough ground for these blokes to find space out there. And Lane's got it on the outer side of the ground in front of where the old scoreboard used to sit here at Toorak Park. And he's got it outside defensive 45, stabbed through the target. And he takes the mark easily over Fleming. Goes in short with a kick, stays outer side of the ground to Semiopolis and he marks. So Xavs on the move, albeit ever slowly, back to Fennelly, and he takes the mark centre wing for them. So in brilliant sunshine out there, 70 playing 23. Xavs have the lead. They've led all of the afternoon. Fennelly down towards half forward, fished away at McGuinness towards the boundary line, worked. Was it Davey? It was, and it goes over the line out of play and will have a ball in.
Briefly around the grounds for Marshall White. Scores tied at the University Oval. The University Blacks and St Kevin's on 47 apiece.
Thrown in, 45 out from Xavs' goal, outer side of the ground. And the umpire comes in and says, I'll ball this one up 45 metres out, or 46 metres out from Xavs' goal, attacking to the apartment complex end in this third quarter.
So both squads down a rotation. Tommy McRae out of the game with an ankle injury for the Old Xaverians. Will Mayhood out of the game with a hamstring, a right hamstring for Collegians. Successive stoppages, 55 metres from goal for the Xavs. Boucher dropped it, got a flying foot to it, went in the Thomas direction. Who takes it out of bounds. It will be thrown in from beneath the scoreboard. No insufficient intent there, Hugo. The other results, all these games going into their fourth quarters, remember. Old Haileybury clear by 32 points of St Bernard's. Old Brighton 66 points up on D-La. The University Blues 19 points up on Old Scotch. All the 2 o'clock start, so early stages of the final term in those contests. Ball back in the air. Perry wins the hit out. 45 metres from the Xavs goal. Dunn now has it. They all have him. It'll be thrown up on the 50-metre arc. Again, the Old Xaverians just 47 points now, that lead. Nearly halfway through this third term for Honan Capital.
So thrown in the air and roved, and away they go. Nelson a kick towards the centre of the ground, fist away. Back towards Fleming. He overran it, goes in after it again. Got front berth. Dunn then got there as well. A handball pinchback along the ground, didn't help out his man in Bowes. It came back to Dunn though, brought to ground by Boucher, and the umpire says over the shoulder. And Dunn gets the free kick here for Xavs. Outer side of the ground, centre wing. Sun in his eyes. He's looking to go straight down the ground to hugging the boundary line. Perry goes up, fist away Bilby. Nearly kept in the end by Tuddenham. And under the main scoreboard, we'll have the ball thrown back in. Xavs 10-10-70, Collegians 3-5-23 for Honan Capital, 15 minutes played. In this third quarter, 47 out from Xavs' goal. High ball throw in that one. Sprayer, second go at it, got it to Nelson, who then fell over. Brusnahan gets in the way as well. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
Just noticed Fisher on the boundary line here, getting ready to come back on, so it might get a little bit worse for Collegians. Having a bit of a rest for the last couple of minutes. I think that might be leather poisoning, Petchy. Is that a fair bit of it?
Ball's been stuck on the cricket net swing side of the ground for a little while now, where it's just been stoppage after stoppage after stoppage, which Collegians won't mind because it means the Xavs aren't in open space and scoring on them, as we saw in the first 5 minutes of this term. Semiopolis and Thomas now battling over the footy on the 50-metre arc. Stop start again. So dying sunshine here. Melbourne Southeast. SEN Match of the Day action. Here's Van Twest of Collegians. Clears the defensive zone momentarily. Campbell Lane. Contested grab by Campbell, the number 30, who joined us pre-game. He's going to put it into the pocket. Not. Had a metre on the opponent the whole way through. And takes a mark. A metre ahead of Nick Canny there. I'll have a shot at goal right half forward. Pretty tricky angle from 45 metres out.
So we spoke to Dan Donati during the week, you and I, Paddy. It was a great chat we had, and he flagged this guy, Charlie Knott, as being one of his biggest improves. Geez, you can see that too. He gets very busy in the forward line. That was an excellent mark. Great kick too. But, yeah, I'm liking his work up there.
So Knott hasn't got a goal yet so far in this game. They call him Bobby down here at Toorak Park. 7 goals on the season, and he's kept this one narrow, so still looking for his first of the afternoon. 10-11-71, the Old Xaverians. 3-5-23 Collegians, and even 8-goal contest, Simon Petch.
Yeah, 11 behinds here. I tell you what, they've had some easy shots at goal, Xavs. Not that they're kicking their way out of this game, but gee whiz, percentage at this time of year is a big thing, and they could really be nailing this mob, but they're not doing it. 21 shots to 8. And they've missed a lot of easy ones here, Xavs, especially down at the apartment complex end. Here's Lane again, brought to ground there by Bilby. Ball goes over the line out of play. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it in after 3 Collegians players thought it was deliberate, like fair dinkum. He's right on the boundary line. Right. Anyway, what would it be if the boot was on the other foot, you blokes? Yeah,
left footer.
Exactly right. Here's Woodhouse, he palmed it down. Fisher in the thick of things. Bent down, picked it up as easy as you like. Left foot kick in towards half forward. Didn't hit anyone. It goes towards half forward, and now, who's got it? Not. Brought to ground, lost the footy. No free kick. Yes, it is. Yep. Umpire saw it. And free kick going Bilby's way for a good tackle on Charlie Knotts.
Just noticed Tommy Hart, usual centre-half back for the Old Xaverians, sprinting to get in the forward goal square to try and create an option. So maybe Dan Donati pulling some levers in the third quarter of this one as it's kicked towards us down the commentary side and off hands and out of play.
Well, that's what you're doing, you coach. A comfortable position, but you want to see, can he play down there? Is it going to change the matchups up? What's the other coach going to do? Because he might need to do this later in the year. Because this side will be playing finals, I think. Yeah,
they look like they've evened up the numbers, the Xavs, perhaps. Ralph is the spare down there. Yep. So it'll be thrown in right in front of us and in front of the Old Xaverians bench between wing and half forward. Putra's falling over in back play, taken by Nelson. Kicked it blindly into the midfielders accompanying him, and now done for the Xavs. Kicks it towards the point of the centre square. They do spoil each other, Hugo, and now Guiney. He's got Lane on the outside, fights his way through a tackle. Tuddenham ducks through one. The handball was impeded, taken by Van Twest at centre-half back for all the Lions. He kicks again blindly, cricket net's wing side. Ralph is there with Boucher. He's got support in Lane. Boucher was pushed over by Ralph, and the umpire said it was illegal. So a free kick to Nathan Boucher. His last game for a little while for Collegians. He's moving over to London for a job, we're told by Geordie McKenzie. Boucher goes inside 50. It bounced, almost not expecting it there was Fennelly. It bounced off his forearm. Then he retrieved it at right half back. Gave it to Ralph, who's kicked it out of bounds on the full while looking for Westcott. True centre wing cricket net side.
So 19 and a half played, 10-11-71 Xavs, Collegians 3-5-23. Ball on the outer side of the ground, pinch bet. Goes towards Howard. Now Dunn's got it in front of the cricket net area, and Simeopoulos takes the mark. Brilliant sunshine out there. He goes inside here to Fisher, who just spun around, had a look. Goes long with the kip, a wobbly kick inside 45, and Brosnahan has pushed his opponent out of play here. And he's given away a free kick. I don't think he knew where the umpire was then. I reckon he thought that he was up here, and he didn't see anything.
Oh, my God.
Now, he gets it back again. Brosnahan, but a handball to Canny, and a loose handball here to McCleary will put him under pressure. He kept the ball alive, though. Collegians keep it alive. They go inside here to Putras, and from Van Twest, Putras has the football at half-back commentary side. He goes up towards centre wing. Davey across the front, Bowser was across the front, spoiled it over the line, and will have a ball in.
Just interesting there, great mark on that inside 45. He looked back to the centre of the ground, expecting to see a purple jumper there. There was just no one. There was just no one on that other side of the ground where they could have really moved with that good lateral movement, open up the other side of the ground. So once again, we're up in congestion. Been the story of the day.
Yeah.
Even 8 goals the lead here for the Old Xavs. Stavros back on the ground for them. He's into the mix. The kick inside 50 for Lukic for Collegians. Campbell Lane was clean, and then he was cleaned up for his trouble. Was tackled as he handballed. Nelson picked it up for Collegians. Kicked it inside 50. Bowes will get to it. Into the pocket. Tries to roll it through on the right, and he just misses. That would have been a stellar goal from Zach Bowes. The late inclusion for an ill Campbell Walker. He misses. The lead now 47.71, playing 24. The Old Xaverians in front, Hugo.
Just noticing one of the Collegians blokes, he's coming into the grandstand here. You had enough, you going home, Petchy? Said that's it.
Yeah. Don't even know who that was.
I've only got 2 hour parking.
Wasn't a supporter either. Here's Howard. Goes back to Perry, who gives it to Canny, and he takes the mark at half-back. Collegians with possession again. Putras through the middle. Goes long as he possibly can. should hit the target here in Perry, and he does. Handball here to Thomas. 45 out from goal. High straight into the ground. Bad kick. That give Lukic absolutely nothing there. And the umpire says a free kick going his way. Was it?
Cop on very high.
So he got a high hit there, Lukic. But I tell you what, Thomas didn't help him out at all there. That was a bad kick. The lead was good enough, but he ended up with a free kick anyway.
Well, he was running onto his right foot there, and I don't think he's that confident on the right because he sort of snuck back onto the left and was under a lot of pressure. But luckily for Collegians, I think they gave him an old-fashioned moon slap, we used to call that, when you got one in the forehead.
Yeah, or a reserves handshake, one or the other. Here's Lukic. This is for his third goal of the afternoon, right across the face. That's out of bounds on the full, any day of the week. He missed everything. There's plenty of daylight between the goals out there. No score, 10-11, 71 Xavs, 3-6, 24 Collegians, 23 played in this third quarter.
For Marsha White, selling prestige homes for more than 50 years. Old Brighton doing it easily over D-Lar. They're up by, 64 points. Might be 74 points actually at Brighton Beach Oval. Old Haileybury by 19 points over St Bernard's. The University Blues are 9 points up on Old Scotch at Camberwell Sports Ground. And St Kevin's by 2 points over the University Blacks at the Melbourne Uni Oval. The Zavs moved it down the cricket net swing. It stopped when McGuinness got the footy. Now Putris. Left half back, his handball was interrupted. He'll have to go again, Will Putris, and got it to Boucher this time, who's away. Takes a running bounce, looks ahead of himself, picks out a target there. It's a good kick to Carroll. He's going to turn to the inside. Anderson back with the fly. There was contact coming. He committed to the footy and took the mark. Guiney clattered into him, back to his feet. They beat him tough out in Maffra, where Henry Anderson hails from, or Sale as well. Now Howard with a nice entry inside 50 from centre half forward. That's better for Collegians. They'll have a shot at goal here. It was a slow build up, Hugo, and in the end it's Pinchbeck who'll go back for the shot at centre half forward, 50 metres out.
It was very good lateral movement there, so open up the ground, kick to advantage. There is space out there, as I say. They've just got to get away from congestion and get away from that. I just want it as safe as possible because let's face it, they're not going to win the game here, are they? So they want to start playing a little bit of confident football. They almost started this game playing like they didn't want to lose instead of playing like they want to win the game. And you have to do that at this level.
A bit of pride in the jumper will help.
So Pinchbeck, just the one goal this year back in round 6. He's got that off the instep. It won't score. It floats to a contest. They've got representation there. Collegians. McCleary was slung off his handball. Hamish McIsaac paddled it to Campbell Lane, who's away. Through right half back. Beautiful kick to Westcott. He marks it. Lace out. It just about burst through his chest. It was kicked that low and hard.
Shocking kick there by Pinchbeck. He's a lot better than that with a kick, and now rebounds for Zavs down towards centre wing, and McGuinness stood there. He had to beat 3 of them, and he did. And he took the mark, and he goes short with a kick towards the boundary line. And there's a player for Collegians down there, Davey. He's holding onto his leg as Anderson kicks up towards half forward. McCleary gets there first, brought to ground, and we'll have a ball up.
They call that the Sale cuddle, what Jonty just gave him then, and said, thanks for the ride there, mate.
Yep, used him beautifully. So he's up and running, he's okay. Umpire's waiting for someone, throws it in the air, out of sight of the ground, Sprayer. Got a kick high up and under, up there for an eternity. Here's Van Twest, held up. By not, we'll have a ball up.
So 71 plays 24, 47 points to lead for the Old Xaverians. The largest lead of the day was out at 48 points, or 52 points rather, when Jack O'Sullivan puts through his first of the day at the 8-minute mark of this third term. It's been the Old Xaverians the whole way through. Here's Fitzpatrick.
Here's your man.
Charlie McIsaac from 30 metres out. Jobs it. He's got 3 for the quarter, 4 for the game. And Charlie and the Zavs are on their merry way. They're going to go to the bye with a big win. It's just a question of margin at this stage. That's 5 Old Xaverians goals for the quarter, 11-11-77, leading 3-6-24. 26 minutes gone for Honan Capital.
Guarantee we got the footage of that one. So that was an excellent build-up. Fitzparsons, he was just floating out in this wing, does a great job of holding that wing space, and he doesn't get ahead of the ball, just coasts up alongside, as he must be learning from one of the best in Campbell Lane out on the other wing, and just a great execution.
Game high, 53 points now the lead here.
So dying stages of the third term, thrown in the air in the middle again. McGuinness Georges won it down.
Oh,
He went straight into Phipps Parsons. And then Ben stood over him and said, get up. And Phipps did. Didn't stay down for long. Thrown in the air again. Sprayer out the back. Rove there by Fisher. Then rove by Putris, who broke a tackle. Got it off here to Nelson, who goes towards half forward but chopped off by Hart. And he takes the mark in the last line. Goes out wider here to Lane. Then it's fisted over the line out of play. And we'll have a ball in out of side High Street end.
Lights have just come on, Petchy and Hugo.
That's what we thought would happen. I don't know why. They must be on a timer to come on at this part of the afternoon. Thrown back in, High Street end of the ground. Still in sunshine over there. And running through Guiney without it. Kick away by Putris, a small one. Found Tregar, who gets a kick. A wobbly one off the boot, but it worked anyway. They come out here to Parsons, and he takes the mark on centre wing. He just has to hold up play because they're all going back to their spots, and Westcott marks on centre wing right in front of us here.
He's your man. He's your man.
To McIsaac, and he takes the mark as easy as you like.
Just putting on a show out there. An absolute display.
Nowhere to be seen. Bilby hands on hips. Bilby not knowing what's going on, really. And it's not like Scott. He's a lot better than that. He's a better player than that. But McIsaac just gets away from him.
Petchy, don't watch this. Please look away. He's going to kick around the corner.
Yeah. Well, this is just the generation game, isn't it? As he puts it on its way and kicked it. Not a problem in the world at all. So they kick their 12th right on the siren. 12-11, 83 Xavs. And McIsaac has kicked 5 for the afternoon. In fact, 4 in that third term. So a very good display by him personally, but the side also. 12-11, 83. Collegians 3-6-24. In that quarter, Xavs kicked 6 goals, 4. And Collegians could only score 1 goal, 1. 6-4 to 1-1. Telling tale of that third term. All in favour of Xavs.
So we'll have a break and then we'll be back on the other side of this inside the Old Xaverians huddle for Wagstaff. Dan Donati to join us after this break.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food. Because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Tickets are now on sale for the VAFA's 2025 Big V Gala Dinner presented by City Power. It's a landmark event, the largest function the VAFA has ever staged, and it's celebrating 100 years of Big V representative football. This historic evening will serve as the official opening to the Rep Football Weekend, offering a unique opportunity to honour the legacy of the Big V and its enduring significance within the VAFA community. The Big V Gala Dinner will bring together past players, coaches, club representatives and supporters to reflect on a century of tradition, achievement and pride. The evening promises to be one of the most significant in the VAFA's history. You don't want to miss it. It's at Centrepiece at Melbourne Park, Thursday the 10th of July 2025. Tickets now on sale at vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Old Xaverians 12-11-83, Collegians 3-6-24. It's all the Old Xavs, 59-point leaders as we turn for home. Let's get down inside Dan Donati's huddle.
Actually, two things we spoke about half-time was in the contest and the clearance. In that third quarter, 15-3 clearance. Dominate. Davy, massive quarter. All right. You and Fisho in there, brilliant. And Spaggy, but amazing. Laney on the outside. All right, and the other one was in the contest, 28-19 for the quarter. Those are the things. If we get that right this quarter, you get it back on our terms, and you did what you did. Fantastic quarter of footy. Really good. We're down to one on the bench. All right, a couple of boys are sore and injury. So let's not get beaten by what we know. Right? Remember the second quarter? All right, they got us around that stoppage. Let's just make sure we're hunting around there. Keep the ball on the move. Keep our structure around it. Forwards work really, really well. Hey, Jacko, great quarter footy. Hey, how clean you were early, mate. It was that first clean ground ball, mate, which we scored that first ball was fantastic, all right? Hey, Bruzzy, the Predator, all right? Real good at that. You're the man. Hey, switch it on. We want to finish it. Hey, Westy, really good quarter too. Yeah, Westo. Really good. Working hard up the ground here. He took a really good mark, but the direction from everyone saying, Charlie. Beautiful. Charlie in the pocket. Beautiful. Massive quarter. Come on, get your reward for the work. All right, let's have a look at where we're going to go, boys. All right.
Fantastic stuff there from Dan Donati and the Old Xaverians. Wade Brosnahan, the Predator. That's an interesting nickname, I think, for Wade, but we can unpack that one in a few moments' time. I'm expecting Harrison McIlwaine might be quizzing Dan Donati on the players who are out of the contest because down to one on the bench there, Hugo.
Yeah, that's interesting, but then that's player management. This happens, so it's good preparation. You can roll constant rotations, and then you probably don't have the luxury of icing anyone up, but I think Petch mentioned it earlier, percentage. So that's what they really have to focus on now because they're sitting second by percentage, and it's going to be more important. And we do know what's coming. I think there's a couple of very important players going, got a bit of that Europe flu. So very important that you get that on the wood. But just the energy amongst the players there, that's fantastic. You want to see them having fun. It's good.
For Wagstaff, let's get back down to Harrison McIlwaine, who has the coach of the Old Xaverians, Dan Donati.
Dan, very impressive quarter. I think he scored 4 goals in 8 minutes to start it. What did you like most?
Oh, I think you probably heard me just say it in the huddle. We got beaten in the second quarter around clearance in particular and the contested ball, and we'd worked on it all week. So I was really pleased with the way we did the contest, especially centre clearance, lowering the eyes going forward. So yeah, it was a good quarter.
You mentioned down to one on the bench. We know about McRae. Who else is sitting?
Yeah, Jack O'Sullivan's got a bit of a calf, unfortunately. He's been good for us. And Jack Whitehead with a groin, mate. So we've got 3 pretty sore boys on the bench, so down to 1.
Thanks, mate. Might speak to you after the game.
Thanks to Dan Donati and Harrison McIlwaine going nice and early, but I think that's a fairly sure thing. All for Wagstaff, Australian-owned and operated family business that has supplied quality meats both here and abroad since 1908. Wagstaff.com.au. The goal scorers in this goal kickers in this contest: Hugo and Petchy. 5 for Charlie McIsaac, as we've mentioned. 2 for Wade Brosnahan. Singles for Fisher, O'Sullivan, who's done for the day. Campbell, Lane, Westcott, and Hayden. Woodhouse for Collegians. 2 to Alex Lukic. 1 to Braden Fleming. The fourth quarter ahead, this is going to be, I think, just about a procession for Old Xaverians. They're 59 points up. They lead at 83 to 24. And they're going to go into the bye off the back of a very good win. The final term for Australian Venue Company. They own and operate more than 200 of Australia's most popular and iconic pubs, bars and event spaces. And you can find out more at ozvenueco.com.au. Simon Petch on the call as we're just waiting for the final few patrons to make their way through the gate and off the ground, down to the right of your screen and radio dial. And all in order now, so our man Hugo Higginbotham, who's been on the siren all day long, will press the button, and we're away in the fourth term with Simon Petch.
So Toorak Park now bathed in shade, really. So not much sunshine left out there, and what have Collegians got in this final term? Have they got a bit of pride in the jumper and in their selves to try and arrest and kick as many goals as they possibly can to make the scoreboard look a lot better? Their reserves got absolutely thrashed earlier today, and it looks like the same way is going for their senior side, but a bit of pride in the jumper will help here, you would think, as they kick down towards the apartment complex or pavilion end of Toorak Park. So about to be thrown back in. Ball's made its way to the boundary line. Thrown in. And a clearing possession. Sprayer tried with a kick. 45 out from Collegians' goal. Thomas thrown to the deck. And gets a free kick. Didn't have the footy, obviously. And Thomas gets the free kick here for Collegians.
He's had a really good day, Dylan Thomas. I think when the going was pretty tough early in the game, he was the one who gave them their first bout of run and energy. So he probably deserves a goal for his endeavours.
Sorry, I was just thrown by Brucey, the buttons man, coming in on my special comments turf.
Here he goes. Won't make the distance. Or will it? Yes,
Yeah,
it will.
did.
It snuck in for a minor score. First score, a minor one. Collegians on the 3-7-25. Xavs on 12-11-83 for the Australian venue company. We've gone just on a minute and a half.
There it is.
Final turf.
For around the grounds and Marshall White, James Tarrant's kicked 3 goals in a row at Camberwell Sports Ground to put Old Scotch 9 points clear of the Uni Blues. That game's ongoing on VAFA.com.au, 90 playing 81, with Marcus Stavro, who switches the ball after receiving a bit of a give and go with Fisher to Campbell Lane. His kick is cut down by McGuinness. Your man, Hugo Higginbotham.
Yeah, he's a goer. He's a goer.
He's been going all day against Alex Spralia. The going's been tough. He goes to Boucher. And now with Bealby, who had some decisions by foot in that third term that he would have liked back. We'll put it that way. Boucher now with it. On the left, drives it deep inside 50. Lukic from the side, crashed the pack, brought it down. It'll come into the hands of a Lion there in Richie Andrew, who snaps and misses to the right-hand side. An opportunity goes begging there for Collegians. 3-8-26 they are. The Old Xaverians 12-11-83. 2.5 gone in the final term, thanks to the Australian venue company, Hugo.
It's probably a story of the day there, realistically. Great build-up, good roving work, and then just spray it.
Yeah.
Other end of the ground, they go straight through.
Yep, it sure would. 23 shots to 13 to 11. 23 to 11 tells the tale, really, of today, as Bowers has taken the mark here for Collegians. Told to play on. Boucher has it. Left foot kick inside 45 to Lukic. And he takes the mark in front of goal.
That's a good, strong mark. Much better build-up. Good intercept mark out there. And there's, see the value, Petch, just giving that quick hands, get the ball moving, rather than pushing back behind the mark, because it gives the defenders a chance to get set up. Look what's coming in, whereas that's coming in, not chaos either, but because they were in control of the ball. Just kicked it to his advantage, but that's a strong mark.
So looking at his third of the afternoon here, Lukic to the scoreboard end of the ground of Toorak Park for their 4th goal of the afternoon, puts it on its way and kicked it. So Lukic has kicked his third. They go on to 4-8-32. Collegians 4-8-32. Xavs on 12-11-83. And for Australian Venue Company, we've gone just on 3.5 minutes in this final term. But all of a sudden, it's all Collegians early in this final term.
And that's starting from the midfield. So the midfielders have got on top a little bit. Maybe they've worked out, changed something up. It's a good time to try it. But that's been the difference. You get your hands on the ball, you can control it a little bit more.
So far in this quarter, they've scored, what, 1 goal, 2. So they've had 3 shots at goal.
For Marshall Whiteson, Kevin 74 playing the University Black, 61 dying stages, Melbourne University Oval, the Scobbers ahead. Taken here by Van Twest, who kicks it towards centre-half forward. Fennelly taps it to his own advantage there for the Old Xaverians and gave it on the bounce by hand to Phipps Parsons. Again on the bounce to Hart. He was dispossessed by Andrew. Stobie the other way. This is good from Collegians. Bowes inside 50, 3-on-1 favouring the Xavs. Trigard too big, too strong for Perry, who's gone forward. And he'll bring it away through the left-back pocket. It was a dodgy handball to Campbell Lane, who's now got to try and get around the Collegians forward press and did so with ease and found Spralia, left half-back for the red and black.
So in front of the scoreboard, nearly 5 minutes gone in this final term. 83 playing 32, and Xavs have led all of the afternoon. Ball on centre wing out of sight of the ground. The umpire says, give it a me, old ball, this one up.
I know there's no wind or anything like that, but it's definitely been the scoring end of the ground.
It has, absolutely.
It's good for us, it's close here, easy to see.
Thrown in the air. Semiopolis ends up with it, smothered kick off the boot, goes back in towards the middle, or Woodhouse has taken the mark anyway. Must have been a wobbly kick and he goes inside 45 here. And Westcott's taken it, goes inside to Knott and he marks. So not at the high street end of the ground here for Xavs. Collegians not even touching it there. And Charlie's got an opportunity here to trouble the scorer for the first time today.
While he's on the runway, Petchy and Hugo, just a quick note out at Camberwell Sports Ground. James Tarrant's kicked 5 goals in the final term. He has 8 for the game. Old Scotch has come from 19 points down at three-quarter time against the Blues to be up by 22 points. 30-minute mark of the final term.
Not again for the Blues.
It's happened
Not again.
So here's Knott, speaking of that. He runs inside the 45-metre arc. Drop punt, kicks it on its way, but it doesn't even make the distance. And Collegians defence kick it out of danger momentarily here and Stobie marks here for them.
So Stobie from McGuinness at left half back. Just a little prop kick that hung in the air. It was dangerous in getting to Van Twest, but it did so, and now he switches to Boucher. Cricket net side. He finds McGuinness on a run.
The big fella.
Terrible bounce. Campbell Lane swoops, picks it up, puts it on the right peg. Inside 50, and Boucher takes a hanger in his farewell game. That's mark of the day for Gorman Commercial. Got up high, Boucher. There's not much of him, and as a result, Collegians will go through the centre of Toorak Park. Long kick looking for Andrew inside 50. He dispossessed Dunn. It comes out, though, by way of Lane and Dunn for the Old Xaverians. The kick down the wing finds Kaisak or Hart down there. Takes the mark, kicks it forward, looking there for not. The fist comes, and out of play at left half forward for the Xavs. That's a nice little departing gift for Nathan Boucher in the back pocket.
Yeah, good way. What do you reckon he said? See you later, boys. We're going to set the top of the mark there.
He's getting on a plane anyway. May as well get some early altitude to get himself used to it.
Get yourself on the highlights reel.
So the other result, Simon Petch, before you take this game back. So it's 31-minute mark out at Camberwell Sports Ground. It's Old Scotch by 22 points. St Kevin's by one straight kick at Melbourne University Oval.
So ball inside the 45-metre arc here for Xavs at the high street end of the ground, and we will have a ball in the air. Umpire's got it in his hands there. So an opportunity here for Xavs. Woodhouse got it down. Fisher didn't go. Allowed nodding. Got the handball to Stavrou. Dispossessed there by Pinchbeck, but Stavrou gets it back. He goes in towards goal across the face. McIsaac there looking for a free kick for being held on to from Perry, but a minor score. Taking Xavs on the 12-12-84. Collegians 4-8-32. 8 minutes gone in this final term for Australian Venue Company. And Boucher has the ball from the kick in. He goes towards McCleary, centre wing. Fished away by Stavrou, found Sprayer. Handball back into Lane, who gets it to Stavrou. Stavrou has a look, then goes backwards with a kick in to Ralph. And he takes the mark here for Xavs.
So Ralph on the switch to Hamish McIsaac, who has time to clean his hands before he marks that footy. And they'll move it inch by inch across the width of Toorak Park. Now with Tuddenham beneath us, centre wing. Hart runs by, receives the handball now. The next man in the chain was Westcott, who fell over, so Hart had to kick it long towards the 50-metre arc. And the ball was fisted out of play right into the Collegians bench. 84 playing 32, nearly 9 minutes gone in the final term, thanks to the Australian Venue Company. Around the grounds for Marshall White, where I've got my eyes glued on this contest at the Melbourne University Oval. We're at 74 apiece between the Blacks and St Kevin's. The Uni Blacks, the last 2 goals of the game to tie it up. Collegians win it away from the throw-in, kicking it towards us. McGuinness has gone forward, Hart bodied them away and then ran into the exercise bike on the Old Xavs bench. He's okay, as is the bike, we think. It'll be thrown in front of the Old Xaverians bench, Hugo.
Just noticing Big Johnny, he's very proppy there, and on that front right shin area is strapped, but he's definitely running with a bit of an awkward gait.
It might be why they've chucked him into the full forward position for the finish of this match. It means that Spralia's got an easier time in the ruck, though, on Perry. He won the tap down, did Big Alec, and then did the tackling, so it'll be thrown up as we see the exercise bike removed from the boundary line here in front of us at the Old Xaverians.
That's an $11,000 fine, isn't it?
Thrown in. There's Guiding, got a kick. Bilby went through his hands out the back. Umpire has picked out a free kick here going McIsaac.
Go. No one on the mark.
Got it. No one on the mark. 55 out from goal. Goes towards full forward, but Boucher marks in the back pocket, all on his lonesome. At the high straight end of the ground. A lot of support down at that end of the ground as well. Kick to Davey, back to Boucher. Got around Simeopoulos with a handball here to Warren, who had to get a handball back to Boucher. He's under enormous pressure. Got a kick or a handball to Canny, who got a kick, and it bounced just in front of the boundary line, and now it's bounced over. The umpire says ball this one in.
Over at Princess Park in South Caulfield, it's the Bloods 14-9-93 winners over St Bernard's 12-9-81. Daniel Ward's men with a 12-point victory. Petchy.
About to be thrown back in Orrong Road side of the ground. About 47 out from Xavs' goal, but possession here with Collegians. Perry, a handball, McCleary. They kept running. Van Twest keeps doing that. Got a handball back though. Howard goes long with a kick inside the 45-metre arc. And a Pinchbeck. Well, he got down on hands and knees. He knew the ball was coming, but then the oncoming traffic arrived, and Andrew, is it?
Yeah, there's Richie Andrew.
Has got it here for Collegians. Geez, a look-alike. Where's Pinchbeck? He's got a mow as well. So here's Richie for Collegians' 5th goal of the afternoon. Pavilion side of the ground, pavilion end of the ground. Runs inside 45, puts it on its way and goes right across the face. No mark taken, done. Gets a clearing handball to Lane, Xavs out.
Lane to Fisher, who goes beyond the 50-metre arc with a short kick to Brosnahan. Predator, they call him in the huddle. He'll go across the face to Hamish McIsaac, who backs back. He's got Ralph by hand if he chooses to use him. Does now. Through right half back, Ralph props the kick. This is methodical. It'll pitch before it made its way through to Tregar, who had Tuddenham. Tuddenham's kick past halfway was, you can hear our man on the buttons, out of bounds on the full.
He's into this one. It's good. Yeah, I think someone has got in his way there. A little bit of lack of communication, but anyway.
The Melbourne University Oval, the Uni Blacks have kicked the last 3 goals of the game to beat St Kevin's by 6 points, 80 playing 74. We'll unpack that one a little bit later on in our post-game show. Perry in the middle of the ground. His marking attempt was spoiled by Woodhouse. Lane now by hand to Fisher. Those two will be well into the 30s now with disposals. Fisher's kick inside 50 is cut out. And now Jasper Davey will bring it out for Collegians.
It's Parsons. Jeez, he's fast.
So ball is spilt. Picked up here by Brosnahan here for Xavs, who goes inside 45. And the marker's been taken out there. Just in front of, it is Brosnahan out there, just in front of the cricket net wicket area. And at the high street end of the ground, Brosnahan has got this one. Looking at their 13th goal of the afternoon. There's been no breeze down here today. No sun left on the ground either. It's all in shade. Lights are on. And Brosnahan looking at his 3rd goal of the afternoon. 45 out from it. He puts it on its way. That's a beautiful kick.
That is.
Just a beautiful kick off the boot. It didn't deviate a millimetre as soon as it left his boot. And Brosnahan kicks his 3rd of the afternoon. And Xavs kicked their 13th of the day. We'll just await the scoreboard to come back. I'm sure it's 13 for them. 13-12-90. Leading Collegians 4-8-32. They've kicked only, what, 1 goal, 1, or 2 goals, 1 in this quarter. Xavs, Collegians have kicked 1 goal, 2. So fairly even Stevens, really, this final term. But Brosnahan, 3 for the day. McIsaac, leading goal kicker for the afternoon, got 5.
It's been the Brosnahan and McIsaac show inside 50. Wade's had himself a day out as well across half forward. Fisher in the middle of the ground doing the tackling, and we'll get a repeat stoppage. Hugo, what can Collegians garner from this last 15 minutes or so of the contest?
They want to be finishing, improving. You don't want to be just giving up. Probably try a few things. I'll be throwing a few guys around, but win a couple of clearances, get the ball forward. But it's probably just players out there really want to play it out. And there's your man again.
Yes, Brosnahan to Lane, and then on the outside of the boot, found Charlie McIsaac leading through the pocket, who has a chance now at a half dozen for Charlie. So he's already got his season best day out today with 5, beating out the 4 he kicked against D-Lar back in round 1. He's got 20 on the season now. He'd be leading all comers. How's about 21 for Charlie McIsaac? From 50 metres out, pretty tough angle. It's going to go across the face. It won't score. Big pack of players form. Simeopoulos, it slipped through his fingers at ground level. He'll go after it again, will Dennis, as will not. Simeopoulos has it again. They've got him, and he's caught holding the ball at full forward. So Collegians to bring it out here. 90 playing 32, all for the Australian venue company. 58-point leaders, the Xavs.
So from defence, they bring it up towards centre wing. Oh, Lukic nearly set himself, but someone got in his way. Nelson ended up there. Now Lukic bent the handball along the ground, but decided to go into the middle with a kick. And Stobie was there, got the handball back, got it back again. Kick towards half forward for Collegians. Commentary side of the ground. Hart there, handball back to Fennelly. He has a look in the middle. He goes in that direction. Van Twest there with Westcott. Now Lane bent down, picked it up, got the handball here to Stavrou, who then got the handball back here to Westcott. He'll get it back here from Woodhouse. He'll go to half forward. And as easy as you like, that's like a Thursday night training drill. He gave it to Brusnahan, and he marks and goes back and looks at his fourth of the afternoon. That's a circle work in a straight line.
It certainly is. It certainly is. A bit of a difference as well. Collegians are building up there. Stobie got the ball on the wing here and a little bit of congestion. Just threw it on the boot, and it just tumbled forward. Whereas Xavs are a lot more clinical. But you notice our man, Campbell Lane, involved in that again. Just a beautiful little bit of handball. I don't know, we're going to be talking to him after the game, Paddy, or do you think Big Charlie will wait and see?
Here's Brusnahan for 4, puts it on its way and didn't like it as soon as it left the boot. Body language says a lot. And that's their 13th minor score. 13-13-91 Xavs Collegians, 4-8-32 for Australian Venue Company. 17 played in this final term.
All other games completed. Scores in just a moment as Dylan Thomas from left half back screws it across the body. Dunn went reaching for it. Tregar behind the play for the Old Xaverians. His kick is smothered by Andrew and out of place in a wing broadcast side. So Old Brighton 86-point winners over D-La, 127-41. Old Scotch 22-point winners over the Uni Blues, 103-81. Old Haileybury, as we mentioned, 93-81. 12-point winners over St Bernard's. The University Blacks 6-point winners over St Kevin's, 80-74. As things stand here at Toorak Park, it's 91 playing 32. The Old Xaverians 59 points up and doing it comfortably. Fisher went to Stavro, who has Sterling Fix-Parsons, who just wanders through Pinchbeck. Got the handball away under Anderson pressure, cut down by Stobie. He wants the corridor, kicked it into Woodhouse. He handballs for Knott. The Xavs move it forward. Simeopoulos wanted it. Tregar gets it instead. They go really wide to Campbell Lane. Loves doing the delivery to Campbell Lane. Charlie McIsaac again in the pockets. It's been Lane to McIsaac 5 or 6 times, I reckon, today, Hugo Higginbotham.
It has. Rinse, repeat. But what do you think? A little bit too far here? He pushed the other one across the face, dropped short. I think it's a little bit harder to kick goals at that end of the ground.
Well, he's had a sighter now, Charlie. So 50 metres out, tough angle, left half forward. He's a right footer. The last time of asking, he hung it across the face and he had to align his leapers to try and bring the ball down. But Charlie's going back. He wants 6 today. Does the Old Xavs number 1. This one looks a little bit better. It does fade, go across the face again. Ended up being the exact same. You're right, Hugo. Putris and Knott. Not for the Old Xaverians went after it. Putris goes again, was maybe caught high. The umpire agrees. And he'll take it out from fullback for the Lions.
All right, we're getting into red time just about. 19 gone in this final term. And it's just been a procession here by Xavs right from the word go here today. Collegians have never been in the hunt. They've been outrun, really, by a very fit Xaverians team. And as I say that, Fennelly runs off half-back and delivers beautifully to Sprayer. And he marks. So they're running. All of the afternoon, Xavs, has been excellent. They've run Collegians into the deck. Collegians have just chased football all of the afternoon. And it was just on show there as Fennelly ran out of defence and delivered a beautiful ball here to Sprayer. And he hasn't troubled the scorers today, Alec. And he might be about to. He's done a ton of work for his team today. He can cap it off with a goal here. High straight into the ground. Pretty good. And he does just that. That's their 14th. 14-13-97 Xavs. 4-8-32 Collegians. We've gone 20 minutes into this final term for Australian Venue Company. And Sprayer kicks his first goal of the afternoon.
You'd have to say that Xavs are probably the fittest team in the competition at the moment. They're winning games.
Top of the ground, they're running. As we've seen here today, Hugo, what I've been impressed with is just their run. They've just run. And they haven't stopped. And they're not going to stop. You could play another half of this game and they'll just keep going.
They could.
Yeah.
Hearing in the battle of the undefeated teams in Premier C, Parkdale has come down from 23 points at quarter time to beat Ajax by 10 points. So more on that with Harrison McIlwaine in the post-game show. Successive stoppages in the middle of the ground means we'll have the ball thrown back up again. McGuinness punches this one forward. Pinchbeck didn't know where it was. Stavro tackles, towed forward by Tuddenham. Boucher now for Collegians. By hand to McCleary. 2 Big V teammates last year. McCleary's kick was smothered by Dunn, picked it back up. The left foot snap was affected by a tackle. It'll come the way of Simeopoulos and the Xavs. Westcott, though, was sold a pup. He's tackled straight away there by Andrew, who helps up Westcott, and it will be thrown up in the centre of the ground.
So why didn't Stobie attack that footy? Why didn't he? Like, he let it bounce in front of him. Attack it. That's the game, isn't it?
It is, but they look sore and tired to me. That's how Collegians look.
21 and a half gone for the Australian Venue Company. Putris kicks it into McCleary as he was searching for the inside 50 entry. The Xavs come away, done by hand to Woodhouse, who turns to his inside. Stavro over the top to Guy, and he needs to get rid of it before he's tackled by Lukic. Did so. Mark was dropped in the centre of Toorak Park. No harm done. Ralph now with it between half-back and the wing, and picks out Phipps Parsons, who's got Fennelly running past. He'll trace the boundary, commentary side, kicks it across inside 50. Spraliot was spoiled by Bowes. First to it, Boucher for the Lions, who takes a bounce through the left back pocket, and another, and falls over. They need to just clear the zone, Collegians. They do so by hand. Pinchbeck now to the outside, and they'll come through this commentary wing.
So he'll kick it up towards us eventually. No, a handball, not a real good one. Putris there under pressure, had to get a short kick. That was Simeopoulos swooped, and so did Guiney. Have a look at him go. He goes to a handball out wide, he hit a lane. It sits okay for him, even if it didn't, he pick it up. Got it back here to Stavru, goes back into the middle of the ground here to Dunn, who puts it on his right boot around the body, goes inside the 45-metre arc. No one could really take clean possession. Now Boucher, handball here to Warren, handball to Pinchbeck, who goes shorter here, and mark taken by Perry on the back end of the centre square. Collegians work the ball towards centre wing. Hamish McIsaac out there, fists it clear, goes down, picks up his own work. Handball back to Tuddenham, who got it back here to Lane, who's standing still. No one's been near him all of the afternoon. He goes towards Bilby, and he takes a good mark here for Collegians in the dying stages of this game. Into Pinchbeck, who goes to Howard, who goes into the middle to Lukic, stands still, picked it up, put it onto his boot, goes towards Andrew, fisted away from him towards the boundary line, and Tuddenham to clear here for Xavs.
Yeah, they're lining up all through defensive 50, the Xavs. And it's going to come the way of Phipps Parsons at the right half-back flank.
And they're lined up down the wing too. Have a look here.
Richie Andrew a little bit lame in back play. Just jogging out what looks to be a corky. They're all hands on knees, actually, in the forward 54 Collegians. Dunn's kicked that one. It's our man Bruce again, out of bounds on the full. Just picks out a patron next to the Collegians bench. So approaching 24 minutes gone now in this final term. Australian Venue Company, as Jed Fennelly is making his way off, and he looks hobbled as well. Here's Woodhouse. Turnover at centre-half forward. That'll favour the Old Xavs, but Simeopoulos is tied up. Jed Fennelly does not look right. This would be a real blow for the Old Xaverians late in this game. Just returned from injury. Harrison McIlwaine is watching this one develop, so we'll cross down to him in a moment. Meanwhile, it's a ball up at centre-half forward. Westcott to Woodhouse. Now to Dennis Simeopoulos. He could just put a bow on it, you'd think, but he's missed. To the left-hand side. 14-14, 98, 4-8-32, approaching 25 gone. Final turn action, Australian Venue Company. It's the Xavs 66 points up.
Should have kicked it to Charlie then, shouldn't he?
He needs that half dozen, Charlie.
You think, is that the benchmark?
I think he's our Skins player of the day, so I'm kind of hoping we can quiz him on it if he doesn't get to the half dozen. Yep. We'll be speaking to him via Harrison McIlwaine in just a few moments' time. Big Charlie McIsaac with a season-high 5 goals and counting.
So Boucher out to Bilby, and he takes the mark here for Collegians. Out of sight of the ground, handball, Happy, and it came back here to Howard, who goes to centre-half forward, and Lukic has taken the mark in front of 45 out from goal. Goes to Thomas, he runs to 45 as well, and he takes the mark.
Let's get down to Harrison McIlwaine, who's on the boundary.
Yeah, Fennelly just landed awkwardly, and he's got a little bit of knee soreness. I don't think it's anything serious, but they're just not taking the risk, obviously, at this late stage in the game.
Thanks, Harrow, for Author Sport Victoria. Dill Thomas now lining up from 50 metres out left half forward.
So hasn't troubled the scorer today. Thomas puts it on its way. Left foot kick. That's nice off the boot. That's beautiful. Goal umpire didn't move, and that's their 5th. Collegians kick their 5th. They go into 5-8, 38. Yep. And a long way behind Xavs as Thomas kicks his first of the afternoon. 5-8-38 to 14-14-98. A 10-goal margin in favour of Xavs, and we've gone 26 minutes in this final term, as I said, Thomas. Taken him a long time today. That's his first goal of the day.
It's been good all day, though, from start to finish. He's been a shining light for them.
Yep.
He's doing everything midfield, kicking goals. It's good that they finished off with a couple of goals, but interesting, Xavs down to none on the bench now, but I think day's nearly done. I think I'm looking at the timekeepers. Might be have the finger on the button soon.
The strange thing is about this game, Hugo, is that Collegians won the second quarter and they're a chance of winning the fourth term as well. So they've won half the quarters, but they're 10 goals down. Guiney through the middle of the ground, gave it off to Fisher. There's a gap inside 50 there for not to run onto the footy. Turns to his left-hand side, takes a running bounce. How about this to seal the game? Not on the right boot, snaps around the body. There you go, Charlie. Thumbs up. He'll love that one on replay. Bobby Knott. That's a cracking goal to just put a bow on this thing. 15-14, 104, the Old Xaverians to 5-8-38 Collegians. That's Knott's first of the day. It'll be our last goal of the day for Australian Venue Company. The lead out to an even 11 goals. Nice little way for him to finish there, Petchy.
That was probably one of the goals of the day. He had to dodge and weave about 3 players to do that, and he's done it very, very well.
Goal of the day, of course, all thanks to Higgins' better painting management.
All right, I reckon we've got about 3 seconds left here. So by the time the ball's in the air and it comes down, there goes the siren. So that is the final score. That quarter going 27 and a half minutes. And Xaverians, who've led all of the afternoon this afternoon, have run out very, very easy winners. 15-14, 104 to Collegians on 5-8-38. McIsaac leading the way with 5 goals off his own boot today.
Yep, 3 also for Brosnahan. We'll have Charlie McIsaac, who will be our Skins player of the day. So 5 goals for him, he was superb. 3 goals also for Wade Brosnahan's singles for Knott. Spralia, Jack O'Sullivan, who finished the game on the bench with an injury. Westcott, Campbell Lane and Hayden Woodhouse for the Old Xavs. Alex Lukic kicked 3 for Collegians. The other 2 goal scorers, Dylan Thomas in the fourth term and Braden Fleming in the third. So Old Xavs 104, Collegians 38. The Xavs continue on their merry way. It's been a wonderful start to the season for them. We'll have Charlie McIsaac, our Skins player of the day, in just a few moments with Harrison, all thanks to Skins, the pioneers of compression. He's won himself a pair of cutting-edge compression tights for his troubles after kicking 5 and getting oh so close to a half-dozen big shark, and I know he will be stoked to be picked out as the radio interview. That'll be some fines during the week for the big number 1 for the Xavs. Before we get to Charlie, Hugo, as both these teams look to the bye, it's a pretty grim showing, you'd think, for Collegians. A few injuries, Bear Mayhood, that shocking injury. We will get to your thoughts in a second, Hugo, but Harrison McIlwaine has Charlie McIsaac alongside him now. Let's get down now to Harrison with our Skins player of the day.
Charlie, congratulations, player of the day today. Big bag, how's that feel?
Oh, feels pretty good. Good performance by all the boys. Good to have a week off after this. I think we've earned it.
Yeah, lovely. You guys look really fit and ran that game quite strongly. Has that been a focus for you over the course of the pre-season in the last few weeks?
Yeah, of course. I think we've run out most games pretty well this year, so I think it's definitely a strength of ours.
Clearance dominance really opened up the forward line for the likes of yourself to go to work. What can you say about the midfield that you guys have?
Oh, the midfield's just absolute class. You got Stav, Fish, Den, Spag, best ruck in the comp, Kumu on a wing, Ralphie on the other wing. It's just unbelievable playing with those boys.
Just up to you boys if you have any questions for him.
Yes, Harrison, thanks for that. Charlie, congratulations on your bag of 5 today, your best haul of the season so far. Is it nice that you're going to be able to look back on the replay and watch all the videos of your goals captured in delicious 4K?
Yeah, well, did we actually get them? I'm not too sure with the VAFA this year. No, it was good. It was good. I probably should have kicked a few more there, so definitely work on the goal kicking this week off.
Sorry to jump in there. It's a little bit of a different forward mix for you this year, Charlie. You're not quite as tall as you were last year with Ed Delaney and Oscar Duncan down there. How have you gone as being the number 1 out full forward?
Yeah, look, it's tough at times, but I enjoy it. You know, we're playing with a good group of lads who work hard, and I feel like that's how we get teams in the last quarter. We just work them all day. We're a bit smaller.
You can keep walking off the ground if you'd like as well, boys. Hugo Higginbotham, over to you.
Yeah, Charlie, great game today, mate. And I was one of the blokes who did see the mark last week. I called that game. It was an absolute ripper. I can't believe the boys let you down by not getting the footage of that. That's one that you'll never, ever have now, and that's probably going to be the best one you ever took. But playing that deeper forward, that's been really good for you. And I know a mate of mine watched the Brighton game where you took so many almost marks. And have you done any work on that? Because it really clicked last week and you're on fire today, mate.
I guess I'm on, though. Always working on it. It's just a strength of mine. I try to just compete at every contest. That's my role in the team. So, you just got to compete hard. Can I just give a shout out to Joey Pignataro?
Yes, you can.
Time to tip us, I reckon. Time to tip us.
The Aura's back at Toorak Park. Thanks to Charlie McIsaac for that conversation. Geez, he's going to be seriously short in the pocket, you'd think, over the next few weeks after that performance in our post-match interview. He's our Skins player of the day, all thanks to Skins, the pioneers of compression. A pair of compression tights coming his way. Hugo, will resume the thought that we had post-game about Collegians, a really tough day for them with a few injuries as well.
Yeah, it certainly was. It certainly was. We're watching them walk off the ground now and they're really dejected, and you can understand that. That was a tough day at the office, and it's probably been a tough month for them. So that's probably the worst one for the year, you would think, as well, in terms of the losses. The others have all been pretty close. And you probably find this, that's a confidence thing. Their good passages were really good. Look, they won 2 quarters out there as well. But it's just a matter of the damage was done. And that's been a little bit of the story of the year, that they can't arrest that momentum that goes against them at some stages. Because the damage was done in the first quarter, on the ground and probably mentally as well.
Yeah, you look at the quarter by quarter. So the Xavs by 34 points at quarter time. Collegians kicked 2 goals to 1 in the second term, which made it a 26-point advantage at half-time, but then 6 goals to 1 in the third term. Well and truly killed off that contest. 59 points was the margin, and then the Xavs kicked another 3 goals to 2 in the final term. 15-14, 104 to 5-8, 38 winners. 66-point margin for the Old Xaverians, who came into this contest second on the ladder, and they're just continuing on their merry way, Hugo.
Yeah, they are. They are. There was clinical performance today. The song, the boys are singing the song pretty raucously down there, which you'd understand. But a marked difference in the way the Xavs moved the ball today. And I know, speaking to Nutsy, that was their focus, and you can see the boys really responded to that. But you've got, how many times do you see Fisher to Lane?
Yep.
That's amazing. And Stavro as well. One thing that was really impressive was how strong they were around the middle of the ground to retain the possession, not get tackled. Well, while they were getting tackled, and still find a handball. And then they're getting avenues to goal, which is what you want. And not too many high entries today, so really focused on that, which was great.
Well, I think the only negative for the Xavs is Tommy McRae, who finished up early with an ankle injury. Jack O'Sullivan finished up early with a calf. Jack Whitehead with a groin, and then we saw Jed Fennelly come off. We're told, of course, that it's just soreness, but it's never good to be short of a bench at the end of a game, no matter at what point of the year you are in. And the injury for Collegians was Will Mayhood, who had a really nasty looking right hamstring.
Bad. That's a long-term one, unfortunately. Going into a bye next week, competition bye, and they'll really relish that as well with those sore boys. Collegians need that bye. They really need that to get a little bit of freshness back in, and they probably might have to have an old-fashioned session down the pub or something like that, Paddy, just to get a bit of feeling amongst the boys again, do something different. But they did look sore and tired, and the first thing to go when you are tired is probably your decision-making and your talk as well, and you can see that out there later in the game.
Your talk is probably what lacked out there all of the afternoon, I'm sure, because they just were nonplussed, those Collegian players, and it's got a lot to do with your mouth.
Seemed to be a lot of pressure on pressure, like transferring pressure to pressure rather than getting away, whereas Xavs were completely different. A player under pressure would release to someone's advantage who wasn't under pressure.
Correct.
And they did follow Collegians.
Their running game was terrific.
Amazing.
They outran them. And this ground was unforgiving today. Let's not make any marks about that. That ground is rather hard out there. And there's a lot of players that have gone down. They'll be feeling that today.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Definitely.
It's not like it's the end of May and grounds are starting to soften up. That was a hard surface.
No, but credit to them. They finished the game running too. And they looked like they had energy. They looked like they had energy. And why wouldn't you?
Go another half.
This is our post-match show, all thanks to Wingate, a leading alternative investment manager focused on property debt, mid-market corporate debt and direct property investment. The scores here at Toorak Park, the Old Xaverians 15-14, 104, defeating Collegians 5-8, 38 by 66 points. The results around the rest of William Buck Premier Men's: Old Brighton 127 defeated D-La 41, 86-point winners there. The Tunners remain undefeated as we go to the second bye of the season. Old Scotch come from behind victory over the University Blues, 103 to 81. The story there, James Tarrant, 8 goals over the course of the match. Jake Tawney also with 3. Tarrant kicked 5 of those goals in the final term. It was the Uni Blues who led it at three-quarter time by 19 points. 8 goals to 2 in the final term.
53 points they've kicked in that final term. So that's finishing on top of the ground, isn't it?
It's another tough final quarter for Matt Smith and the University Blues. That's been the story of the year so far. They were run over by Old Haileybury at home. They were run over last week by the Old Xaverians at home. And then over at Camberwell Sports Ground, Old Scotch have got them at the last. They will be smarting, you'd think, of 3 losses where they really should have won those games.
It's demoralising. That's demoralising. They've been so close, and we saw it last week. But there's definitely something in that. You've got to start to break it down and say, right, why are we getting run over the top of so often? Because their good's really good, and they've got a good system. They've got a good structure there. It's just being able to continue that. And we've been shown today that you need to play 4 quarters. You play 4 quarters. But the ladder's starting to shape up a little bit, but they've really announced themselves there today, I think.
Over in South Caulfield, it's Old Haileybury 14-9-93 defeating St Bernard's 12-9-81. 12-point winners the Bloods, but they did most of their work in the third term. A 5-goal-to-1 third quarter. They led it there by 38 points going into the final term. The Snow Dogs 6 goals to 2, come back in the final term, just falling a few short. So that's a few losses in a row now for the Snow Dogs. Cody Goodawardner, 3 goals for the Bloods, 2 goals also for Hugo Noziara. Where does that leave St Bernard's, Hugo? Because as you mentioned in the pre-game show, they're one of those middle-of-the-road teams. We haven't quite figured out where they sit as far as the premiership race goes, but I think they've been shown, levels by some of the very, very best squads in William Buck Premier. Yeah,
definitely. Probably shows that they're not quite up to the top end. They're definitely not in relegation zone or anything like that. They win plenty more games for the year, but they probably won't win the crucial ones, I think. And we've seen one of the sides out here today that's proved they can win crucial games. And I think you can sort of see that raft, definitely the top end's spreading away. So it's going to be an interesting race for 3 and 4, probably 3 and 4 on the ladder, I'd say. And there's probably 4 teams in that. And then the bottom couple. So as we sit at the moment, Collegians are in relegation zone.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
And they're there tonight as well. We haven't got a final ladder for you yet, but with the heavy loss suffered here, they'll certainly go below the Uni Blues on the live ladder as it stands when that result is entered, and they will be 9th going into the bye. D-Lar in 10th position. A few more games to get through. Let's go now to the University Oval. This is a really interesting one. So the University Blacks was close all day. It looked like St Kevin's had the advantage late when they led this one by 19 points at the 25.5-minute mark of the final term. They were 19 points clear. And then the Blacks, through goals from Matt Grocott, Ben Oliver, Kane Loftus and Joel Ernest, tied the game up first and then took the lead at the 34.5-minute mark to win it by a kick. It's pretty difficult to win these games on the road. We saw last year that Blacks did beat St Kevin's when they were in that same fixture at University Oval. Hugo, I'll let you unpack this one because you've got a few notes for me.
I know, unheard of. My high school teachers would be horrified with that. Then I've taken notes. But I said before the game, they're hard to get a read on. We just didn't know where they were at. Well, we know now. Beating St Kevin's in a game like that too, which St Kevin's are famous for winning those sort of games, the tight ones. And that's a huge win for them. So I think a couple of sides have announced themselves today. The Blacks are one.
Yeah. Well, when we covered the Blacks a few weeks ago, they went down. I forget who they played, to be perfect.
St Bernard's.
St Bernard's. Yep. And St Bernard's had won, what was that, round 2? I even said then that the Blacks are going to beat sides.
Yep.
They may not be a top 4 side, but they're going to make sides in that 4 make them work really hard to win. It's just been proven here. They've beaten. They're not that bad a team. It's just unfortunate that they just don't get together like the other clubs do, being a university, that they can't gel together early in the year.
Yep.
And it takes them a long while to get rolling and winning. But that win today, that just might do something for them.
Well, it sounds like they're going to be in the mix of fighting for third or fourth on the ladder.
Yeah, and even after round 2, I thought, Yeah, they're going to make some teams struggle in that top 4. Well, they've already done it.
They've proven that.
That's not too bad.
One of the best, one of the most experienced sides in the competition.
Correct.
Well, it seems now, gents, that there's a real clear split between the top 3 teams. So Old Brighton are 8 and zip, Old Haileybury and the Old Xavs 6 and 2, and then you've got this 4-strong chasing pack of 4 and 4 teams, which are St Kevin's, Old Scotch, St Bernard's, the Uni Blacks, and they're all battling it out for that 4th place on the Autosport Victoria ladder. And then, again, a bit of a gap, a 2-win gap to 8th to 9th, Collegians and the Uni Blues, both 2 and 6, and then D-Lar at the bottom, 0 and 8, yet to win a game. So it does feel that outside of, well, it feels like Brighton, Old Haileybury and the Old Xavs are the first 3 ranked teams that are going to get their ticket stamped to finals. You'd think, should they keep on their trajectory that they're on right now. It's just that battle for 4th. We thought St Kevin's was probably the clubhouse favourite to make that spot their own, but with this loss today, they're back with the pack.
Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. Aren't Haileybury the surprise packet coming up from B? I know they won B, in a great fashion last year, and then were very unlucky to get relegated a couple of years ago. So it was it's something that they're fighting for a double chance there. I know it's early in the season, there's still a fair bit to play out. But
let's very quickly, let's get down to the boundary because we've got Dan Donati and Harrison McIlwaine who've set up for us. Dan is just untangling himself from all his clothing. Dan, good to see you. Congratulations on your win today. Great performance. Sorry, Dan, we'll just grab you again there. Have another go, Dan.
Now, boys. Here we go.
Here we go. How do you review that one, mate?
Oh, look, boys. We were good. We had 3 really good quarters. Second quarter, they got on top a little bit. Look, they're a good side. They was going to do that. But look, we did what we had to do. I was obviously really pleased with our work inside the contest. Look, we certainly tried to move the ball. We turned the ball over a few times today, I know Collegians really well. They've got 4 or 5 good players out, but at the same time, you've still got to rock up. You've still got to play good football. So to get a good win like that, mate, I'm obviously bloody pleased to be 6 and 2 after 8 rounds with the week off.
What was your messaging just to your group with the week off coming? Do you sort of remind them of, I suppose, the discipline and the ability that they've shown this year, and you're trying to maintain that momentum through the rest of the season?
Yeah, I didn't say anything like that after the game. We've got this week to do that. They're a pretty mature group now, these boys. We've worked really hard. We haven't had a week off yet. We've trained all the way through. We trained Saturdays all the way through pre-season. They deserve a bit of time off. I'll probably give them a day off this week. But no, we'll reset them, mate. I'll let them enjoy tonight. But no, we've got some big games after the break. Campbell Lane's away for next month.
Yes.
So and all the boys laugh about that because I brought it up about 15 times. And he's been awesome for us, mate. So, we've got a big job to do, but certainly happy at this stage.
Mate, great work today. Great win again. Becoming a habit speaking to you after the game. But notice a real different style moving forward. So you've obviously, as we spoke about, worked a lot on that during the week, and geez, it worked well. That first quarter was electric.
Yeah. Look, and I was saying to someone after the game, you only get the boys twice a week, and you might get them for an hour. You've got video. You don't get them for a long time. So to teach on the go and to retrain, it's hard at local level. Sometimes you drop the ball on a weekend and you can review it and get better at it, and they certainly responded with that. But look, certainly pleasing with the way we worked around the contest, and we were able to lower our eyes moving forward and get the ball off the line. And like I said, we turned a few balls over, but that was because we were actually trying to do it, and at the end of the day, I was really pleased with it.
Dan, we understand you've got to run off, mate, so I really appreciate you taking some time to chat to us. What are you going to do on your week off before you leave us?
I haven't gotten that far yet, boys. I go to Sydney every week for work on a Wednesday, so it'll be a normal week for me. We'll probably have a night off, but I haven't decided. Next weekend, my young bloke's playing interleague footy on Saturday, Arvo. And then I'm going to go and watch the Cats play the Gold Coast at Skills. That's my Saturday done, but other than that, nothing.
Laughing, mate. Enjoy it. Thanks
Good on you, boys. Appreciate it as always. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
The winning coach, Old Brighton's Dan Donati, just racing out of Toorak Park. Our man Harrison doing a great job to just capture him on his way out of the ground. Before we say farewell, guys, just a quick note on the other games that we'd like to cover. So Premier B, of course, the second tier competition. Old Geelong winners over Old Camberwell by 46 points. Old Trinity winners over Caulfield Grammarians by 5 points. Williamstown CYMS by 19 points over the Old Melburnians at Elstonwick Park. Old Carey by 19 points over Fitzroy. And Old Ivanhoe by 130 points over the Hampton Rovers. Hugo, a final word from you on what we've seen today?
Oh, that was a great performance by Xavs, and great to see, players like your favourite man, Charlie Maguire, getting around the goals. midfield for Collegians, but a great performance. And, you know, you can just see that game style will hold up in the finals this year. So they're going to be one to watch moving through the rest of the season.
And Charlie, with 5, did he have a goal of the day thanks to Higgins' better painting management amongst his 5 snags?
Oh, it's either his or the kid down Brusnahan.
Yes.
I think we might give it to Bruzzy.
Well, Charlie Knott in the last few minutes as well.
Oh, actually, yes, that was a very, no, we'll give it to Charlie Knott.
Yeah,
that's a great goal.
Simon Petch, I'll give you the mark of the day thanks to Gorman Commercial, Melbourne's commercial property leader. What was your best grab of the day?
You know I'm no good at this stuff. You know that I don't take any notice. But
we've nearly
I'll
lost
give it
Petchy.
to Nathan Boucher. I thought
Yes. Oh, the big hanger in the back.
A very impressive mark.
You see, you tell me that you don't
Thanks,
know
Hugo.
anything.
Once again.
The players need a break, the coaches need a break. We might need a week off as well, I think, Hugo and Petchy.
I'm no good at that stuff. I
Yes.
really
No,
am.
all good.
Whatever's happened out there, I have now forgotten. So I move on. Yeah.
Very good.
Well, fantastic stuff. A big cheerio as well to Harrison McIlwaine, who was outstanding on the boundary for us today. And a big thank you to Geordie McKenzie and to Dan Donati for the access that they allowed us today for the SEN Match of the Day. We're going to take a week off, gents, for King's birthday. We'll be back on the other side of the bye weekend. My name is Paddy Grindlay. You can catch us on For the Love of the Game across the week if you want to keep up with everything across the Ammos. We'll catch you in 2 weeks' time.
This has been the SEN Match of the Day. Thanks to William Buck. Join us again next week on the SEN app, sen.com.au and vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
Tickets are now on sale for the VAFA's 2025 Big V Gala Dinner presented by City Power. It's a landmark event, the largest function the VAFA has ever staged, and it's celebrating 100 years of Big V representative football. This historic evening will serve as the official opening to the Rep Football Weekend, offering a unique opportunity to honour the legacy of the Big V and its enduring significance within the VAFA community. The Big V Gala Dinner will bring together past players, coaches, club representatives and supporters to reflect on a century of tradition, achievement and pride. The evening promises to be one of the most significant in the VAFA's history. You don't want to miss it. It's at Centrepiece at Melbourne Park, Thursday the 10th of July 2025. Tickets now on sale at vafa.com.au.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Keep up to date with everything that's happening around the VAFA by subscribing to our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, LinkedIn and TikTok. Join in the fun with the best pics, videos, stories and reels from around the competition. Send us your best and we might share them around the league. VAFA Socials. Search VAFA and VAFA Women's on your favourite platforms.
Would you like to get more closely involved with footy and enjoy the unique camaraderie and bonds that exist in and around footy clubs? VAFA clubs are always looking for volunteers to assist with the weekly running of the club, both on and off the field. Log on to vafa.com.au and check out our club directory to find a club near you.
Is your club celebrating a player milestone? Let us know at VAFA Media and we'll feature it in the Amateur Footballer. We're always on the lookout for stories that acknowledge outstanding achievements and the clubs behind them. Email us at media@vafa.com.au.